Tell you what's changed right now. In a different field, different lane right now. Now I'm in the mud, switching lanes right now. Passive income getting paid right now. Used to roll around with sinners, bulldozers and killers. Now we focused on figures. 3-course meals for dinners. 5-star suites and villas. Now the swag hit different. Cause the bag is different.
This can't come out.
Hello, Michael. Thanks. This is called... Okay, basically, I'm going to just break in straight into the intro.
Okay.
Now, basically, this is called This Can't Come Out.
Okay.
Now, what happens here is we have beautiful, unfiltered conversations. Now, what happens when people have these beautiful, unfiltered conversations is we say things that we probably don't want the world to know about.
Yep.
And because of that, what happens is before I release anything, I send it to you. Before I put any clips out, I send it to you to get approval first and foremost.
Yep.
And then you have to give me the go-ahead, and then you'll be like, yeah, cool, you want it to be released.
Fantastic.
So
I'm
that
cool.
way you can relax. You don't have to be on your... You don't have to be guarded or anything. It's cool. Now, how I like to start off with is how do me and you know each other?
We went to the same secondary school. We met each other at 11 years old. It's been... My maths is bad, but it's got to be like 20 years, or 18 to 20 years that we've known each other.
And first and foremost, you've always lived in Muswell Hill?
No, Hornsey first.
Oh, okay.
And then moved to Muswell Hill at 15, 16.
Now, like many of us, like Ishmael as well, Ishmael's in the building.
Yep.
There was a lot of black people that we kind of took different routes to get into that school.
Yep.
Were you allowed in Fortesmere by the normal route?
The catchment area ended at the bottom of my road.
Oh, okay.
So I was on the waiting list. And then, thankfully, managed to get into the school. And then, obviously, when you get in, your brothers and everyone else can usually typically follow.
Now, with me personally, what I had to do to get into Fortesmere was my eldest brother, literally, my parents used him as like a sacrificial lamb.
That's my God.
Made him go to the sixth form just to get me in.
But then, that's nice, though. You got nice. So you had an easy route in.
Yeah. So I didn't have to do none of that stuff. I've heard crazy cases. Ishmael, how did you get in?
Family friend lived in Muswell.
Family friend. I thought you were using the political connections.
No. You lot had that easy in.
Impossible. We went to a political party in 88.
Yeah, but that was just my grandma. Was affiliated. My grandma was affiliated.
She was affiliated at that point in time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, she wasn't affiliated back then as well then. Okay, cool. But so we didn't use it anyway.
Either way, you lot had the easy route. And why I'm saying this is, like, I don't know if it's all African households, but there was pressure to get into somewhere good. So, like, I remember prior to applying to go to Fortesmere, I had to go Latimer. My mum said, I want you to go to Latimer.
Oh, yeah, I did the exams.
And you have to do the exams.
Yeah, I did the exams.
You
did the exam.
Oh, yeah, you did. That exam process.
Maybe it was Fortesmere, so maybe you wouldn't pass.
Wait, did you do it?
I did the exam as well.
But the thing is,
They didn't tell me I failed, though.
No.
I just didn't get in.
I know I was off by, I can't remember if it's 4 marks or 4% or something like that. I just know I was off.
I just don't remember what marks. I did the same exam. They didn't give me no feedback.
You get feedback.
Okay.
There's feedback.
Maybe they wanted to protect my feelings.
I just remember being, like, my mum was cool, she was fine, but I remember being so, like, hurt, upset. It's like you're being judged, innit? You're not clever enough to come to this school. So already I was like, this is mad. So it's forcing me. Are they going to even let me in? I'm on a waiting list. And other than that, so my older brother, he went to D&K.
Oh, yeah.
So, and my mum was like, that's not happening.
Well, so what was your alternative if you didn't go Fortesmere, if you didn't get it?
I was never told of what the alternative would have been.
Oh, your parents just
No,
handled that?
and when you're that young, you're like, you're not even thinking where other schools are. You've come out of primary, so you don't even know that other schools really exist like that. So I'm like, what's going to happen to me? And then
where did the majority of your primary school friends end up going?
Is it when you like primary?
Yeah, you see your primary...
Fortesmere, yeah.
Oh, so who was your primary school friend in Fortesmere?
My best friend in primary school was James Ty.
James Ty was your best friend?
So your form class?
Yeah, so how come you guys drifted?
That was just because of how the nature of school was. We weren't in the same form. So all of a sudden, you're like completely segmented and you find your friends like very, very, very quickly. Obviously, at school, we were happy, we were excited, we're meeting, but how what you remember our school was. So even like it was FORT that was separate, and then ISMEC. So we didn't have the opportunity to really cross each other other than lunch or whatever it was.
And he was your best friend in primary school, right?
Like, we had like a group of like 2 or 3 of us.
Okay.
And then it was Ahmed went to my primary school as well.
Ahmed Saeed.
Yeah, was he in your form?
Yeah, my form as well.
Look at that. Everyone ended up in that form. I was like, oh, fuck this.
Ahmed, he had a curly hair. Now, obviously, I'm going to move on from the Forestmere aspect of this, but basically, what was your first, when you went to Forestmere, what was the first thing you thought when you went to this school? Because I'll tell you mine, when I first went to Forestmere, I thought that was the biggest place I've ever been to in my life.
That's exactly my
thought. It
thought.
was so massive. And it looked like American Pie to me. Like,
Yeah.
They had everything there. They had skaters there. They had the blacks. They had...
What was it?
I'm not even
plastics.
Yeah, they had a branch level as well. I was like, "What's going on here?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts when you first went to Forestmere?
Same thing, massive. Like for me, I love space. Like where we are, it's probably indicative. You can tell I like space, and that's probably because growing up when I was in Hornsey, it was a 2-bed, and I've got 4 brothers, so we're sharing that small space. And
2-bed with 4 brothers is crazy.
We're quite big.
Wait, so your parents had a room and then...
Yeah, their bedrooms, 2-bed apartment.
So they had, and then the 4 brothers shared one room?
Yeah, we shared one room, two bunk beds. Daniel moved out, he moved out early, like from young. So it was really just my younger brothers and me. So like space is just something that's probably just somewhere there in the back of my mind. It's important to me. I want space. So you're getting Forestmere, same thought as you. That place was massive.
Wait, so how long were you living in, all 3 of you, in the same room for how long?
There was 4 of us. Before Ben came, no. So Ben's the youngest before he was born. So that was my childhood home. That was like,
so even during the teenage years, when you're growing up, learning yourself as a man?
15, we moved from there to Muswell.
Oh, okay, 15.
So,
okay.
But
because it'll be hard, trying to become a man.
I can understand. But we're all boys. So
I guess it works better that way. Now, obviously, I spoke to Isaac earlier.
Yes.
Now, I'm sorry, I just have to have this story on camera. You bought a car. You've got to find. You've got what's it called? A fascination with vehicles.
Yep.
We'll go on to your car, the car that you got now, but explain the first vehicle you got and what happened, please. I'm going to shut up.
So the first vehicle, this was at 16. First vehicle was a Fiat Uno. Like, people's grandparents should know what that car is. Anyone younger than that should. It's not really that kind of car.
What reg?
I couldn't even tell you.
D-reg or something.
I couldn't even tell. It was old. It had some massive crack down the... it was definitely illegal to be driving that car because it had a massive crack down the windscreen.
And how much you pay for it?
I feel like it was like £50. But £50 back then was a lot of money. And then I learned to drive. I didn't know how to drive, but there was a book that I found in my house, an old book that teaches you how to drive. Like, you read it and it tells you what to do. No, I promise, it tells you what to do. So you press the clutch. So
that's how you learn how to drive.
That's how I learned to drive. How old was I?
Yeah.
16. And so I used to sneak out like mad late, like 1, 2 a.m. to go and practice trying to drive from the book. And I parked the car outside school. So anyway, I'm getting a bit more confident, and Isaac was like, I could drive. And we're parked behind the science teacher's car.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, I've got this. He gets in, all confident, he's like, wait, how do you put into that gear again? So I tell him how to put it into gear 1. He does that and he stalls it, but he goes into the back of the teacher's car, panics, opens the door.
Teacher's car?
There's a teacher's car, science teacher's car. He panics, opens the door, and he sprints. And I'm there like, this guy. So I've taken the car and I've obviously gear 2'd it all the way somewhere else.
What teacher's car?
I don't know. I just remember it was a science teacher.
Who?
I don't know.
Just say
Oh, yeah. No, I don't remember.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Do you remember who? Yeah, but I don't remember. I just remember it was a science teacher's car. So that car, it had no MOT. So back then, AMPR on the cameras didn't really exist like that. So you'd have to actually manually enter in a registration plate to pull up the details. They've got an OT, has got this. That had no MOT. That had nothing. And probably had no tax because I remember like leaving it somewhere for like a week or two, got clamped and then disappeared. That particular car. So that's how I ended up getting the second car.
Okay, now what happened with that?
So that was an upgrade.
And Isaac is involved in the second story as well.
That story's
Wait, hold on. I think there's a pattern emerging here, isn't it?
Now,
The kidnap story.
Okay, so how much of that story are we really...
Yeah.
You spoke to me, I'd like to share that story, yeah? So yeah, that means the second car. The second car was a 1989 Golf GTI. That was powerful, like sick car. Even to this day, I love that car. But time has passed now where actually people are starting to get lessons. And as I was like, oh, I've got lessons, man. I know how to drive. I promise you this time I know how to drive. So this is during, I feel like it's like GCSE study period. And we're at school, it's like 10, 11 o'clock. We're in the library, we're doing study period in the library. And we're going to go and meet David. And I was like, let's drive there. I know how to do it, I can get there. So we're like, okay, cool. So we leave school. It's like 11 o'clock. He gets into the car and he's actually doing all right. Like he's like, okay, no, I'm cool. We're exiting from school and there's a junction, a small junction. As we get to the junction, as in we're just approaching the junction, he says, which one is the brake? I should have just said the middle one. My first reaction was, what do you mean? So at this point it becomes debatable as to who's really at fault. But then again, I was like, what do you mean?
Definitely Isaac.
No. There isn't. But my point is that like, had I said the middle one,
maybe he would have.
We would have stopped. So what does he do? He presses the accelerator and just hopes for the best, and he goes, shh, bam.
In the back of what car?
Straight into a brand new BMW X5. They haven't even released that car properly in the market. At this point, he looks at me. This is the first time I think I've seen Isaac very, very scared, but very serious. Please, can we just run? And I said, this time, I said, no.
At least this time he asked, isn't it?
No. Because it doesn't make sense. The guy goes like, you lot, stay there. Standing by the car, and he's like, we should just run.
Why didn't you run?
Because
it was the wrong thing to do.
Because I was like, because the car's not going to get taken. No, like it makes no sense. Like I won't have the car back. So we decided not to run.
And this is you bought legally this time.
Well, still young. I shouldn't have the car.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got the car and so I park it up on the side of the road. My car had no damage. Like if there was anything, it was a tiny little dent by the headlamp. The BMW, that got fucked. Like the door, like it was proper indented, it was mashed up. And the guy that jumped out happened to be wearing a BMW jacket.
Wow.
He was like, his first thing was, God, what are you guys doing? He didn't know how to react. Instead of asking for any details or any insurance or anything like that, he was like, you guys are going to need to come with me. Now, we're in the wrong. Yeah. It's better that we go with him than try and go and say to, I don't know, police or any help where we've done something. So we're like, okay, cool. And he's like, I'm going to take you to the showroom. So the showroom happens to be in Finchley. It was actually just down the road, not far from school. Parked the car, left it there. He's taking us to the showroom. And he's just panicking on the way. He's not saying anything. I don't know whose car it is. He's not saying anything. We get to the showroom in Finchley. And he turns around and he's like, you guys wait here. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to get the quote of how much it is. So he's put you in the back of the car? He's passing the back of the BMW.
Okay, yeah.
But at this point, again, we just feel this is a better option because we don't want to get in trouble.
Because you were in the wrong.
Bear in mind, my parents didn't know. They still don't know I had these cars. To my point, I was never supposed to be driving at this point. So you go to BMW. He goes inside, takes his time, comes back out with a piece of paper, and we're told, you guys are going to have to pay £1,200.
1,200? Bear in mind. 1,200?
£1,200. Okay. Bear in mind, the car I bought, that GTI, was something like £200 or £250. £1,200, anything with 3 zeros at that point, that was a lot of money. So we're like, what are we going to do? He also tells us the car's not his and that the owner of the car is coming and he's very, very upset. Don't know what to expect at this particular point. So we're waiting. He's making us sit in the car till the owner comes. And the guy's pacing up and down.
Well, what's the frame of this guy? Is he like imposing?
No, the guy is some really, really small, like nerdy guy. But we just don't want to get
kidnapped by a nerd.
Wait for it. Now comes the owner of the car. Instead of him even opening the door, even asking us questions, he walks around. Bear in mind, this guy looks exactly like Vin Diesel.
Okay.
Bald head. He's massive.
Yeah.
Now, at this BMW Finchley, there happens to be a food truck outside. And I don't know if he did this to scare us. He was pacing up and down. He started slapping his head, goes to the food truck, buys a burger, bites the burger, throws the burger on the floor. Me and Isaac are looking at each other like, is that the owner of the car? Isaac's sitting at the front, lucky him. The guy gets into the back where I'm sitting. I slide along the side of the chair like this to the window. At this point, I was like, no, we took the wrong option. We should never have come with this guy. The guy looks at us and goes, why did you drive? That's the only thing he said. Gets back out, starts pacing up and down. So now the BMW guys come back. He's like, guys, I'm telling you, you don't want to mess with this guy. You need to pay that $1,200.
How old do you reckon that guy is at the time? What are these around the ages, you reckon? If you could think.
That Vin Diesel guy, I think maybe mid-30s. I'd say, mid-30s.
Okay, and the nerd that kidnapped you guys, how old is
40s.
40s,
Definitely.
Okay,
40s.
sweet. Okay, cool. Sweet.
So the guy's like, yeah, you need to get this money. So he to make us get the money.
Wait, by the way, this is 15, 16.
Yeah,
So this
16,
is Batman
16,
from Isaac.
16. This is 16.
Okay, sweet, yeah.
So it's 16 years old, but the guy goes, you need to go get that money now. And Isaac goes, I can get it. But actually what we're really doing is calling everybody that we could think of. Can I borrow some money? Like, do you have £1,000? He probably called like 10 people. And I think we were only able to amass, or like in theory, amass maybe 300.
You know,
in theory, we haven't actually received it.
Yeah.
And then Isaac was like, oh wait, actually, I can take money out. And he pulls out his card. But the problem is the guy, like, he's like, okay, good, we're gonna drive there. He looks at the card and he goes, are you sure? And it says Visa Electron.
Oh wow, yeah.
And Isaac had thought, if I take it out, I could borrow it from the bank. and it will essentially, like, it'll be an overdraft of some sort. But it didn't work. The guy started to get impatient. Hours have passed by. The guy's getting impatient. And so instead, he drives us to the police station. And he's like, yeah, you've got less than an hour. Get the money, otherwise we're handing you in. At this point, we're absolutely terrified. By chance, my older brother's driving past. We're standing outside at this point. My older brother drives past. Sees it.
That's what God, you reckon?
You said it's by chance.
Oh yeah, no, by chance.
You didn't call him?
No. I'd spoken to him. At this point, when I'd spoken to him, this is hours earlier in the day. He's like, where are you? It's not something that he wanted to even get involved in. But by chance, he's driven past. He's seen and he's come in. As I'm speaking to him and trying to explain the situation, a black policewoman comes downstairs, walks to the car. What's going on here? Whose car is this? Everybody's silent. I'm looking at the hench Vin Diesel guy. He turns around and walks off. The BMW guy goes, I work for BMW. It's a brand new car. She's like, yeah, I know. I can see that. It's not registered. It's not supposed to be on the roads. It's this. He starts fumbling and he's like, oh yeah, no, I've got like paperwork and he starts now like really panicking. And he manages to pull out paperwork. As he's done that, she's also gone, yeah, I've seen you've been out here. I've been watching you from the office. You lot have been out here for a long time. Who are these kids? The guy's gone, it's my wife's nephew or some shit like that. We're looking at the policeman like, but at the same time, there's nothing we can do. I looked at my older brother and he's like, and I think he wasn't supposed to be where he was. So he's had to be like, he's my older brother. Yeah. So I've gone back into the car. And Isaac's gone back into the car.
You got him back into your captain's car? Okay.
We've gone back into the car. The Vin Diesel guy has gone back into the car. The guy's driven. By the way, the time is now. We left school 11 a.m. The time is now.
Well, you missed lessons and stuff, I guess.
The time is now at this point 5-something p.m. So we've been gone from 11, and the time is 5 p.m. He's driven us up somewhere around the corner. The Vin Diesel guy says, "Stop here, get out." To the BMW driver. He stopped the car. He's got out, he's taking him, and he's banging in his face. Take these fucking kids, let them go. You're fucking paying. You're paying. Guy comes back to the car. You guys go. Crying. At this point, I can't even feel any sympathy. I'm just like, sorry. And we cut. But I think there's more to that story of afterwards, but that was nothing to do with me because I don't know what happened in terms of like the BMW guy trying to get money because he didn't actually have the money and he was pleading. So that's the second time and the last time that Isaac's ever driven any.
Is it?
Of my
Has he
cars.
asked to drive
We had
your
this
current car?
conversation the other day, and it was like he says, even me, I know this is not a good idea.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. When I speak to Isaac's story and other people's cars, Isaac got Dayo's car taken in university. He took Dayo's car. He didn't crash it. The police took Dayo's car, his whole vehicle, away from him. Lucky that Dayo's a nice person. But anyway, I feel like Mike, you've got also another interesting story. I think it was, what year was it? 2016? Me and Ishmael came out to Dubai with you. And while we were out in Dubai, you embarked on a journey to... you and Viv embarked on a journey to do something. I didn't know exactly what that something was.
Okay.
But I remember, I feel like you were planting the seed. And it's all... A car always seems to be in the picture of this, isn't it? Because you had a Porsche in London.
Yep.
And I remember, I think during this period, this was a period where you decided to sell your Porsche.
Yeah, because I'd committed to moving here in 2016.
Now, initially, in fact, I'll go back to the story of me being here, because I can tell you what I know firsthand. When I came here with Ishmael, it was like you were just trying to find your way inside Dubai.
Yeah. Viv hadn't even moved here at that time.
Yeah, she hadn't moved there, I remember. Yeah. And basically, me, you, and Ish hit the club one time, and then you were spending a bit too much money, and then I think Viv, you did something like... You did something like transferred money out of the bank account.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then Michael was left there like this. And then you done something else. And then Mike said out loud, I love that girl, you know.
Yeah,
so I forgot exactly what it was.
So
maybe you told him off, Mike, you're hemorrhaging money right now. And then maybe you ended up transferring him the money back. So and then he was like,
prior to that, it was the plan was never to move to Dubai at all. So I was doing personal training with Viv. Prior to that, I was doing many other jobs, different. But went into personal training to set up business with Viv, because Viv is my wife, for those that don't know.
I feel like we have to speak about that as well.
My better half.
Yeah, but continue, yeah?
So, I was doing personal training with Viv. We were doing really well in personal training. I think we had something like 22 or 32 clients between us. We were smashing it in personal training. It was sick. But we needed a holiday because we were doing something like 50 plus hours a week. Needed a holiday. The choice was between Thailand and Dubai.
Why was that the choice?
It was just the choice of like holidays.
Okay.
Thailand because of the nature of what Thailand looks like. And Dubai, because I'm a city person at heart. So all my previous jobs I was in the city. That's what I love, tall buildings. So for me, it was like, we have to go for like inspo or relaxation. But the thing is, we only had 10 days holiday to use. 10 days didn't feel like it would have been enough for Thailand. I feel like you need maybe 2 weeks or something like that. So we defaulted and went on Dubai. Got here, and by the way, Dubai was like the first holiday we went on where we were like, do you know what? We're going to treat ourselves to a 5-star hotel. Never ever stayed at a 5-star hotel like before then. So we stayed at a 5-star hotel. We stayed at 2. Fell in love with the place. Everything was just the lights, the city. Like I absolutely was like, this city is wild. It's sick. I love it. The hotel we ended up staying is quite close to us. Actually, I won't even reveal the location, but in that hotel, everything was fine until I went up to the gym. Now, the gym was fine, but the programming in the gym was terrible. So I went downstairs to front desk and I was like, is there anyone I can speak to, man? There's a few tips I can give you that will just make your gym like better. And the person said, it's funny you're saying that because we're actually looking like for someone or a business that can kind of help us do something with this.
Right.
So I gave my details and then the head of, I think it's called Recreation, emailed me like pretty much straight away. Not the same day, but like a day later.
1 second. This goes back to what you were saying about him having that character trait.
Yeah.
He has to correct something.
Yeah.
And he sees it.
Yeah.
And this being like the start of something is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mentioned it yesterday. He was saying that when Michael sees something
Like an injustice or something that's not right.
Oh, yeah.
The DJ was whack.
Or he's with a group of people
I
that are
didn't even
like,
cook
oh,
this.
yeah.
Do you know what? I didn't even cook
He
this.
went up and he spoke to the DJ.
Yeah.
To ask him, okay.
He didn't even tell us he was going to do it. He just went there.
And Gabby was like, Michael's got this trait where he sees something that's not right, he goes and he speaks to the person right.
Yeah.
That's literally
How he's
Yeah. Do you know what? That's a very good catch. Like that's a good spot to see, and because I didn't actually think of it from that perspective, but it was just like to me, it wasn't. I don't think it was like I looked at the gym. The building is a very nice building. That happens to be St. Buildings Miss Lily's. Miss Lily's.
Oh yeah.
The same building.
Yeah.
So, like. The gym space just didn't match the 5-star vibe that they had. And I was like, but you can make it match that. You just, somebody here is not programming correctly. So the lady emails back. She was like, okay, yeah, this is interesting. So do you have a company? And I was like, yeah, in the UK. She's like, oh no, it needs to work with a company that's based here in Dubai. I was like, okay, that's no problem. I could do that today. I only said that because in the UK, you set up a company, especially back then, you could have paid £5 and you got a company that's set up. It's nothing. To set up a company here, it was thousands of pounds. And that's with nothing committed. There's no guaranteed business committed at this particular point, but you have to go through that process before you can even know if you're going to get guaranteed business. But this felt like it's guaranteed, like business is going to happen. So she hasn't told me how to set up a company, but I've immediately done research whilst we're still here on holiday. And I've contacted what are they called when they set up your company?
The company's house.
No. Like when a person, you can get people to set up the company, not an accountant, but like a formations agent. So I found a formations agent. He gave me the details and kind of broke it down to me. And I was like, oh, rah. Like he was quoting me something like, it's like £7,000 to open the company. We were doing very, very well with this PT thing. But it was a huge risk. But in my head, I was like, no, if I can do this for this hotel, I'm telling you, I can do this for the others. I can do it for other buildings. I'm sure I can make that work. But that's me being very high risk, like a high risk individual. So yeah, I contact the formations agent and get the process started. Our holiday's coming to an end. We enjoy it, we vibe, we go to the desert. I'm excited. I'm like, I might be coming back here to do some business. This place feels good. Holidays ended, leave, but I actually need to come back because to set up the company, I need to be here. So 2 weeks later, I've had to come back. But I have no more holiday time left at the gym. So I've handed in my notice. And all my clients, I've transferred to other trainers. I've transferred some to Viv. So that's me now getting rid of business. That's an income stream that I've that's not sharing it. I've given my clients away.
What due diligence did you do to think that this was going to be, that was going to be more lucrative than what you were already doing?
Because of what it is, it's programming. And programming is something that's like, it doesn't require a physical product. There's no outgoing, there's no spend. Like it's programming. It comes from the knowledge that you have. But it's a service that you can charge a lot for because it's what makes or breaks
you know
the
what's
system
funny?
that you have.
Till just now, I realize I have no idea what you do.
Well, it's a business. It's
It's
a business, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you've got consumer business, they do gym personal training.
Yep.
With individuals, it's like it's kind of very easily
but
fluctuating.
But the programming aspect of what I meant, it was absolutely going to include that, as in programming for their trainers on how to deal with the people staying at the hotel, anyone that uses the guest facilities, programming to make it optimal for them, which can help them with reviews. It can help with boosting that hotel's presence. And then the competition rate for hotels in Dubai is wild. So the programming element was tied not just to user experience, but it was also tied to how to make that gym optimal, like for it to function as a business separate or separate to the hotel itself.
All right.
So it's basically BD, business development. So no, but they knew that they needed that because they said that's the one area that they're lacking. I just picked up on the fact that you're lacking that because I can see that you're lacking that. No one's gone and said to them, you're lacking that. So when that's a required and needed service, I was like, no, it's guaranteed. I already know that I can clean up with this. So I come back and I'm in the process of getting the company set up. But I think I come back during the time that it's Ramadan. And back in 2016, especially Ramadan here, things slowed down dramatically, including the process of setting up a company, which should have taken me no more than 30 days. And that ended up taking me months. So whilst I'm in the process of setting up a company, I've had to find somewhere to stay because I might be here for a long time. And I've ended up looking for the cheapest Airbnb, which happens to be in an old part of Dubai, a place that Riv and I never ever visited when we came here for holiday. And it was different. Like it's not the glitz and glam, but it's mad different. But that didn't put me off. It's just you see a different culture, like different restaurants, a different vibe. It's more like, I would say more family oriented. I'm not saying like family friendly, but like you can just see that it's community based. So I've stayed at this Airbnb, but when I've got there very late. This Airbnb that I stayed in, it was one room and it had something like 6 bunk beds in, and I shared it with 9 other people. And the conditions of this place were mad. Now, on my first night, I remember like it's lights out. Lights out was like something like 10:30 or whatever it is. Everyone's in bed. So I don't actually know who's there. I've got there very late. I'm being quiet. I've managed to get into the bunk bed. I haven't even seen if they've given me brand new sheets or whatever. I don't even know what this is, man. I've got in. But I can barely sleep and I'm communicating with Viv and I'm like, do I even tell her the kind of condition that I'm in right now? Because she's already like, is this even a good idea? Because I've jumped off this very deep end. I've made a mad risky decision. I've committed to spending thousands to open something to take this chance. Anyway, first night, and I thought I was the last one in because it's lights out. About an hour or two has gone past. It's now early hours of the morning and some very, very big, like I see a big figure because I can't see who this is. I can see a big figure walking and they're grunting. They're obviously drunk. And I can hear like just grumbling. And I'm kind of like a bit scared because I'm awake. So I turn on my side and at this point I'm just going to sleep and I want to be quiet. And then I see something fat crawling on the wall. And it's the first time I've seen a fat Dubai cockroach.
How big are we talking?
Big.
Fucking hell, man.
Not
Because
the
even small cockroaches
not
are
them
nasty,
tiny
bro.
cockroaches in the UK that you know. So I've even panicked and gone back to the scary guy. At this point, I've messaged Viv immediately and I'm like, this is where I'm staying. Like, just so you know where I am in case anything happens. So anyway, that place in the morning, I ended up meeting a couple other people there, some colourful characters. The big guy that had walked in that was grunting was an English guy. His name was John. Old English guy, but he'd gotten himself into trouble here. And getting in trouble here it's not worth getting in trouble here. You need to be good. The punishment can be quite strict. But anyway, he'd gotten into trouble and couldn't leave the country. But he taught me stuff like early on. He took me around old Dubai. He was like, Mike, if you don't have money here, you need to go back. I know you're ambitious and I know but understand how much you're going to spend before you do anything. Now, at these times, I'm very, very high risk. I can handle it, man. I'm cool. I've got this. But he's letting me know. He's taking me to all the different places. You have to buy this expensive. You can have this, and the other. There was another guy who also got in trouble from the UK. This guy used to have a recruitment company and he'd taken out a massive loan but didn't pay it back. And he found himself in trouble.
what country? In the UK or Dubai?
No, here. He took out a big loan here. A business loan. So it was either wherever it was, he owed money and he had been stuck here for like 2 years, but avoiding being seen because he knew that he was going to face trouble. So he's telling me different stories. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, my demeanor is starting to, my motivation and focusing on I'm gonna make it. It's going through the motions of actually let me really listen to some of the stories that these are saying about how to approach things properly and not make mistakes. So I'm getting like real knowledge here, stuff that I absolutely needed to hear so that I can stay on a path that's gonna help me grow. So anyway, he was here, he owed money. He was in trouble, he couldn't travel. And then there was a third guy, also from the UK. So at this point, like I'm very, very spiritual. I don't go to church, but I'm a very, very spiritual person. I'm very connected to God, conversations with God every single day. At this point, I'm like, no, I'm definitely being sent signs. Like all of these are from the UK. It already made me feel more comfortable that they're from the UK. I don't feel so out of place. On top of that, at the same time, I was in the middle of reading a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And the main character in that book is kind of on this journey that felt very similar to what I was on at that specific time. And it's centered somewhere in the Middle East / Africa. So I've met these three guys and I'm just learning different things about Dubai. The third guy had done something wrong. He's not from Dubai. He came to visit. He'd done something wrong. Immediately got in trouble, couldn't leave. His friends booked him that place. So I've seen, so a current version, someone that's traveled in, someone who's been living here for like 30 plus years, and someone that was new and young and ambitious, wanted to set up a company and messed up. This was spiritual. My whole demeanor of wherever I am, that's all of that's gone out the window. I'm not judging anything. In fact, I'm even starting to dress like them and wear the same t-shirt and shorts basically every day. I'm eating shawarmas that cost £1. And I'm like, cool.
What's a shawarma?
A shawarma.
What is that?
Like, it's like a kebab wrap.
A kebab wrap for £1?
Yeah,
I was there, man.
No, I was doing that and I was limited by budget. The money I was spent to open the company, I had to call Viv a couple times, to transfer money out of the business account.
So that's when you were doing that. I love her.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's what it was, because I probably couldn't have even afforded to get a if she did not do that.
Yeah.
Then I remember. So obviously, Dubai's, I think, 4 hours ahead. I remember it being really, really late and I couldn't get hold of Viv. I didn't have any data on my tourism. I had no money on the card I had with me. Actually, no, I had like £1 or something like that. I ended up buying...
A shawarma.
No. I ended up buying something, a chocolate bar. I'm hungry, by the way. I have no money. I need to call Viv. So I'm walking down the street with the... other UK guy that had the recruitment company. And I'm walking down the street, and this is Ramadan time. And there's no begging in Dubai. It's illegal. You can't beg for money. You can't be living on the street like that. It just doesn't work like that. And there's a guy in a car and he's with his baby. And he rolls down the window and he's like, I'm not from Dubai. I'm like, I've driven in and I just need a bit of money for petrol to go back home. And I was like, sorry, I honestly, I don't, I'm holding my chocolate bar, whatever. I don't have any money. Whilst I'm holding this chocolate bar, the baby is looking at the chocolate bar. Dad looks at the chocolate bar. Baby grabs the chocolate bar.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say gay.
The baby is taking it. What am I supposed to do?
Take it back.
The baby's taking it. I've been like, this is a sign. Let me just accept whatever I'm going to go through. Let me just accept it.
That is crazy, though.
But remember, it's during Ramadan time.
Okay.
And this is at the time they've broken their fast, but they're going through periods of fasting. So even the host that I'm in, this place that I shouldn't even be in because there's 9 people in this one room, and to be honest, I think it was like a massive 2-bed apartment. In the other room, I'm sure there was 9 other people. We just never ended up crossing paths. So we're all like breaking fast. Like they come down, they've laid everything down. And I'm experiencing something that is just giving me a whole different world of perspective that's helped me kind of just adjust and slow down at the same time. So anyway, during this process, I'm there. I've been shocked into being a bit more chilled, humble, spiritual. And then I get an email from the lady that I'm supposed to be doing the business deal with. Mike, I'm so sorry, man. I got bad news. I've been fired. I said, what does that mean? Who's the person I'm supposed to speak to? No, there's some politics going on inside the company, so putting those kind of things on pause. But I am going to another hotel, and I'm telling you, your idea of making that stuff work, it will work there. I'm going to one that's in Abu Dhabi. I was like, no, I like Dubai. I've never even visited Abu Dhabi yet. What am I supposed to do? So at this point, the deal is done. I've spent money opening a company and I've got nothing to fall back on. I have no clients. I keep calling Viv and Viv's getting more irate every time I make that call. In fact, the answer is come home. but that is going to absolutely burst my body.
How long have you been here now for?
8 is it 8 years?
No. I'm talking about at that point.
At this point,
Yeah.
I think maybe 6 weeks. So all of this has happened at a very, very quick time. I can't even cancel the process of setting up the company. I can't get a refund or money back, nothing. So she cancelled. I've told that guy that used to have a recruitment company, and he's been like, okay, cool. Check out this website. There's a website called Dubizzle. Like, maybe you can like find some clients on there. Now, Dubizzle back then was very similar to Gumtree. Now you can go on Gumtree and you can even find like you need a job straight away, you can find a job, like you can find anything. So I've gone on Dubizzle. And whilst I've done that, he's
Dubizzle,
also
like Dubai.
Yeah, it's actually called Dubizzle.
Okay, yeah.
Whilst I've done that, he's gone and put a Snapchat out. This when Snapchat was the main thing, like prior to Instagram really being. I don't even know if Instagram had stories. It didn't. Instagram didn't have stories yet, so it was Snapchat. And he's put out a message like, "I'm with my boy Mike. He's a personal trainer. Like, any of you need these lessons, he's giving a free session away." And he got quite a few responses. So whilst he's got these 3 responses, I've got about 5 leads lined up to go and do we call it a body MOT. And at the same time, I found a person on Dubizzle who's actually looking for a trainer, and she happens to be from the UK, and she happens to be the head of HR for Puma. So I've got in touch with her, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll take the lessons." And I think I'm charging her at this point £750 a month. That's instant income. I'm like, I don't have to call. Let me just see if I can last a bit longer here and see what happens. By the Snapchat, I ended up getting, out of those 5 leads, 2 people sign up.
And wait, who was the guy that gave you the Snapchat? One of the guys
The recruitment one that
the
was
recruitment
very in
guy.
trouble,
Okay, yeah.
that he had to leave.
Oh yeah.
So like, but and this is what I'm saying. Like, it had to be spiritual. Just the being there where I was and learning and getting the information I was getting at the same time. I wanted to trust the process. So I ended up getting a client from him that way, who later on ended up becoming quite good friends with Viv, but many years later. So now I'm at this process where, okay, cool, I'm back to being a PT, not actually working for any company. You need to have your Emirates ID before you can do any work here. And I haven't got that yet. So these clients understand and they don't mind. So I'm training these clients. And where the story started feeling a bit more spiritual for me, is in like this journey was special, is that there was a day where I had to go and meet that client. She lived very far away. So I used to catch the metro from far to hers and then catch a bus. I had no data. And I went to go and meet her, but she was late. And I'm in the middle of nowhere down the other side of Dubai with no internet connection, no way of contacting her, no way of saying, here I am. And also, no way, she usually drops me back to the station because the bus doesn't pick you up there. So I'm just in the desert. Like, when I say desert, it's just a site where they're trying to build new buildings, but there's nothing there. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I've been here 20 minutes. She's not here. Ping, ping, ping. My phone is connected to Wi-Fi. There is no Wi-Fi.
Okay, so how'd you get Wi-Fi?
To this day, ask Viv, to this day, I have no clue. Even the client was shocked. She was like, I didn't know who you were. I've been trying to find you, circle. She came. And at this point, I'm telling you, I'm saying, no, I need to be here in this country. I need to be here. And the story is very, very long, like how it progressed. But I ended up training these particular clients. At this point, Viv has already kind of said, yeah, she's moving or leaving her job. But still, we didn't have things properly set up yet. So many months have gone by. We've now gone from April when I moved. We're now in September. Company's finally opened and set up. Before
And what's the company?
What's the company?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Muscle.
Okay, now, in terms of what was the actual bit? Because you said you set up the company, Mr. and Mrs. Muscle, for that particular hotel?
Consulting, essentially, yeah.
Consulting, okay,
Within
cool.
the realm of health and fitness, but it's mainly to do with programming.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what was your initial business plan? What was your?
Oh, okay.
What was the idea, and how far are you doing the idea? Do you initially want to do? Okay, cool.
Not doing the idea. But at the time, it was to go into these gyms and optimize how client user experience was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyone sign up to gym, how to get more members. The gym's goal is to increase their membership, but also retain membership. And they can only do that through programming. Do they have enough classes? What equipment, even understanding what piece of equipment to put into the gym, all of that, they actually have to go through a proper plan to ensure that it works. Where is the equipment? What side of the gym is it in when they walk in? How accessible is it? Is it female friendly? Like all of these things. So I wanted to package that up and take that across all the hotels initially. And then in Dubai, what I realized is all the apartments, or 90% of the apartments, had gyms built in them at the top. So this could have extended onto the private property developers. So that would have been the thought process to expand through that consultant. But obviously, the personal training, going back to that, was to generate income. And I needed that income.
Okay, so what is the business? What would you say your business is now?
So now our business is essentially online workouts, on-demand video workouts. Workouts that people can do from home that teaches them at the same time without having to instruct via speaking or methods that aren't engaging for them to be able to train.
Okay, now how did that pivot come about then?
So when Viv moved out here, we actually had do you know what? Ish is actually a massive story.
I was going to say, this guy will get a percentage.
No. It's a massive story as to me being out here and being able to survive as long as I was, because Pascal was also out here. And Ish connected me with Pascal because upon opening the company, I also had to write checks. To have a checkbook, you need to have your MSID. To have your MSID, you need to work for a company or open a company. I was in a mad loop that couldn't work. And so Pascal ended up writing the checks for me and I paid her. So I gave her the money, and that's massive trust. But that came about from Ish connecting that.
Well done, Ish.
Right, no, it's a big thing. That's a seed. It's a big thing. This is my brother, right? So that also helped. Pascal lived here. And Pascal obviously went to school with Pascal. Very, very friendly.
She's done one of these, by the way, as well. She's done one of these as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So there you go. So the audience knows about Pas. So Viv and I, when Viv came out here, she had a gym at her building, so we used to go to that gym, and we'd use the gym a little bit and chill, because where we were staying we couldn't. And even that is a separate story in itself. Like there's so many levels to the upcoming of Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. So we were at Pascal's gym, and they see Viv and I, and we're obviously wearing our PT type clothing. Actually, I think we actually had personal trainer tops, didn't we, from Gym Group that still said personal trainer on them. Did we used to wear them here or not? I don't know. I feel like I had one that said...
like personal trainer.
Yeah. So, anyway...
Because we went to go do a session with Pascal.
That's it. Viv and I, or maybe it was Viv that was going to do it, but I was there, went to go and do a personal training session with Pascal. And one of her neighbours, or someone that lived in the building, saw Viv training Pascal.
The husband.
Oh, the husband saw Viv training Pascal, ran upstairs immediately and said to his wife, there's a lady trainer here. I want you to train with her.
Wow. Was she in decent shape?
Gina was in... Yeah, she was in decent shape. She wasn't crazy.
Oh, okay, because that's kind
No,
of...
she was overweight, but
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that a good husband or a bad husband? I don't know. Is that...
She wanted to.
She wanted to? Okay,
She
cool.
was very committed. She was a really good client. And actually, that client got me some really good clients.
Amazing clients.
So she was the plug.
Absolutely. But so what ended up happening, and this is where the mindset shifted to come away from the consulting B2B side and straight into the PT side, because it operated very differently to how the UK PT system here worked. UK PT is different. At the gym, you pay rent. Fortunately, we didn't have to pay rent to the gym, but you pay rent to have a space there so you can train your clients. But we paid in time instead. Here, it's different. Almost every building has a gym, which means people just need to go upstairs if there's a good trainer. So husband ran upstairs, told his wife, she came down, spoke to Viv, we exchanged details. We also had something that no other PT had at the time, and I don't know if they still have it. We had something called a body MOT. And we used to do a free consulting session, a proper training session, but analyze your posture, what dominant side of the body you're using, what muscles you have, your walking pattern, and then give you a full detailed report.
And you made that.
Yeah.
You guys made that.
Yeah. A very detailed report and told you the actual muscle names. Yeah. So if you said your bicep femoris on your left leg, but deliberately, because we want to show you that we have knowledge, but most people are too lazy to do that research themselves on the report, because that's a very, very valuable report. Think Whoop. Think all that data, very, very valuable. But if you had to go and extract that yourself from several places, you're like, I'm not going to be bothered. That showed them immediately, you guys are serious. And on top of that, we always invoiced as well. We had like documents. If you're going to sign up, a lot of PTs here didn't do that. It was just, oh, you want a session? So anyway, she signed up straight away. Husband then was like, okay, I know I need to move. He signed up as well. Then another couple saw us training this couple and was like, oh, you know, we want to get some sessions. Before we knew it, how many people were we training in that building? We were training. That was, in fact, our whole income stream initially came from that building.
Well, would you say that was your first period of success, you reckon, out here?
Absolutely.
And so how many trainers are we, how many clients did you have at that point, you reckon?
I don't know the clients, but we charged way more than we did in London. And
so at this point now, you're in Dubai, and this is the first period where you're doing better than you was when you left.
Yeah, with less clients. And then from the clients in that building, so Hajira, why she was an amazing client for Viv, is she was transforming rapidly. When she went to, I think it was is it dermatologist? Jabita?
Yeah.
She went to her dermatologist. Dermatologist was like, you look,
So
you look
what was
different.
the dermatologist again?
Skin
okay.
Skin doctor. And she was like, you're looking amazing. She's like, yeah, thank you. And she explained, it's because of this lovely lady, it's Viv. Here's her details. She calls, oh, is it possible you can see me? Viv starts training her. Now, this is in a completely different building. It's on a district. Yeah. She's then like, oh, does your husband do it? I want my son to train. You know, he's putting on too much weight. I want him to train. She signs up the son. She's like, my husband needs to do it too, actually. Signs up the husband. Then there's a client I also had at Pascal's building who had a friend that lives across the road, so on this strip as well. He was like, hey, I can see you're getting stronger. You're making progress. Who's your trainer? Sends me to that building. So now we've got clients, but very high-profile clients all over. Now, most people, most expats, UK expats, when they come here, they don't live around this area. They go to the marina because that's where most of the community is, down that side. So they feel more comfortable, they make a better network of friends and communicate. My thought process was do business up this side. Less competitive. And it was. And all of a sudden, our name just started going round. Then
Mr. and Mrs. Muscle.
Yeah, because I actually had the company Mr. and Mrs. Muscle, by the way, in the UK.
Oh, so
as a website, which was supposed to compete with bodybuilding.com. So it was just meant to be a website where you could get information on how to train every single part of your body. And I used that website with my clients. So when they didn't know what to do or they needed something, I would give them something to do from the website. So coming over here, I wanted to reactivate that. But this time it was a bit of video. So we started trying to test video on Instagram, and I wasn't into social like that. But the fitness scene here was on social, and they were getting PR, lots of invitations to events, like free stuff. So we're like, okay, let's just make a couple videos.
And this point, so at this point where you started that, basically your actual PT business is actually booming at this point in time. Okay, cool.
So now, this is where I think if there's anything that I know about me when it comes to work, business development, I'm very systematic. So I said to Viv, we're only allowed to do personal training on 3 days out of the week. And I made that rule more strict for me. So it was Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. That's the only days that I'm offering any client. Because I knew that I wanted to film.
Oh, okay.
And rather than say to myself, it doesn't matter what days I can get clients on and have a whole week roster of clients and just keep making bank, I was like, no, I want to make content.
Why?
Because in my head, I was like, if I can reactivate the online side and get people to follow, let's say, instructional videos or some sort of video, then I can monetize that.
Well, what made you come up with that idea?
Oh, that's you. Like, to answer that, I'd have to go into the history of all of the. That's the background I came from: sales and building websites. Not for others, but building websites that I could make some sort of online income from. That's how I paid for the cars at 16.
You know, I feel like we need a part 2 as well, just to go into that. But continue. Yeah.
So using that.
So basically, you were a bit very much tech savvy and
that's it.
knew about media and content beforehand.
With that, I didn't know too much about content like that, but I just knew we had to film and Instagram was a thing. So there's a part.
Well, why did Viv agree? Because in theory,
at this point, it's me talking about expanding the business.
I trained probably 5-6 days. I had clients and I did boot camps.
Oh, okay.
I did a lot of stuff. I was just constantly on the go.
Okay, so Viv was like the breadwinner in regards to...
No.
No, but she did more clients.
So Viv had...
Volume in terms of that.
Right,
Oh, okay.
So even the boot camp that we ended up setting up, I have to rewind. When Viv came to move here, I didn't have a space, like a place that we could live. Like my thought process is, as in I didn't have a place already set up.
Oh, okay.
'Cause remember, I'd been staying at that Airbnb, but there was no way that I was going to get Viv to come and stay at that Airbnb.
So when Ish and Danny came on holiday,
Yeah.
you were staying in that place?
I was in that place. I was in that place.
Oh, yeah, you were already...
So I was in that place, but Viv wasn't here. She hadn't moved here.
Yeah, so you were still staying in that
I was still staying in that, 100%.
When you were vibing?
100 million percent. 100%. I didn't, where did you not stay? I didn't even remember where you were staying. Okay, yeah, so is that near down? Okay. So I was still staying in that place. And I've rewinded because even then, prior to getting my residency, I'd have to leave Dubai. I have to do visa runs. I've rewinded so that you can kind of get context as well on why I felt this was really spiritual, as to why I stayed here. During those visa runs, you have like 30 days. You're on a tourist visa. You've got like 30 days, and then you have to renew it. But to renew it, you need to leave. And I thought, I'm going to have to fly abroad. So I took my first visa run that I needed to do. I didn't do it. Instead, I went back to London. So I had my tourist visa. It was going to run out. It was on 28 days. My birthday was coming up. I was like, do you know what? Let me fly home for 4 days. So I flew home for 4 days. Saw Viv, chilled. I was like, yes, it's going to go well. I'm going to make it work. And I flew back to Dubai. And I flew back in. They didn't give me a new visa. I didn't know this. I still had some days left on the visa, tourist visa that I left with.
Just change the rule.
Right, they just changed it after. No,
I remember something happened during the period when we were here.
This is why she transferred me money, by the way. So, because it happened whilst you were here.
Yeah, I remember something happened. There was something that seemed like bad news, and then good news took place during that period of time. Yeah,
because when I came back on the same entry visa, it had like 5 or 6 days left on it. So they didn't give me a new one, and I stayed for a whole month. Not knowing that, meaning I overstayed. So when I went to go the visa and when I left Dubai, went to Oman, I got to the borders and they said, oh, no, you have to pay, you can't go through. I was like, pay what? What do you mean? You've overstayed. And the fine was something like 2,000 or something, 2,000 and something dirhams. I didn't even have that. I was like, I don't have that at this point. He's like, I can't let you through. You need to go to immigration. So I went to the airport, immigration. I got there, same thing. Guy said, computer says you need to pay. Like, aggressively as well. And at this point, I'm a bit nervous. I'm like, what do you mean? I can't pay. Anyway, he takes my passport. He's like, you have to pay. And he's there at the desk. And I'm sitting there just thinking, what am I going to do? It's getting really late. And I'm actually starting to really get heated and upset. My whole day has been ruined. He walks off. But I don't know what he's going to do. But I'm not thinking at this point. I'm there stressing. And a whole hour has gone past. He walks back and he looks at me and he goes, because he forgot about me. I sat there and I was just like, I'm so sorry. Go. Cleared the fine.
Oh, wow. Bruh.
And I just made it, and I didn't have enough money, like actual cash, to get a taxi back to where I was staying. And the
You cut it fine, don't you?
and the trains ended, at the time, they ended at like, I think the last train was at 11 something from the airport. I managed to make it. And that's like a 2 dirham journey. That I could have done that. But getting the taxi, which was like a 25 dirham journey. So I got there and I just remember walking out and like I couldn't even cry at this point. I was just like, you've always been there for me. Like, God, like this is, I just have to go through this process. So fast forward to September, Viv's now come over. She's like, no, I'm done. You said for a long time that she had enough because she was like, you said that you're like, we're supposed to be moving out there. This is the first time that we've been actually away for a lengthy period. I forgot about that. Like we've been together 18 years. At that time, 2016, how many years was it? Maybe, I don't know, maybe like
4
8
years, isn't it? What, 2016?
2016, yeah. 10 years. We were together 10 years.
Not married, but
No, but we've been together 10 years. And we hadn't spent any like lengthy time apart, ever. And so she was getting a bit like frustrated with that.
I needed to make plans for myself. I said I was moving.
Yeah, and I kept pushing the date back.
I was working at the gym. I was working at Labrooks. Like, I kept saying to work that I was leaving, and then I had to just commit to it.
Yeah. Because people even were asking, like, oh, you really moving to Dubai? You sure?
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
So I said to her, I was like, okay, but I haven't found somewhere yet, and da-da-da-da-da.
And you don't want to bring her back to your ghetto.
But she couldn't come back there anyway. But I'll explain why she couldn't come back there. So I was like, if you come here, you're gonna have to hit the ground running. Like, there's no break. It's because we're not ready. I haven't found anywhere. So anyway, she comes over. Where I was staying, down the road from there was a hotel. It was cheap, but it was actually very, very nice. And I'd booked it for 10 days. And I was like, in these 10 days, I will find us somewhere to live. Again, by this point, I'd got my Emirates ID. So I would be allowed to find somewhere to live. So I was starting to look, and then I realized you have to pay up front for rent.
For how many months?
It wasn't, at the time, it was either in 1 check or 2 checks, meaning a whole year's rent up front or 6 months.
Oh, what a surprise.
But do you understand why, when I said perspective, the perspective, like my brain was like, what do you mean? Oh, by the way, I was an estate agent for God knows how long. So my brain is like, I know how property works. You're in the UK.
Yeah. Nigeria, same thing.
It's mad.
Usually a year, innit, as well.
So week by week, I'm just getting different bubbles are bursting in my head. Like, I don't know shit, man. Like I had to, my demeanor changed. I was like, I don't know enough. Like I get obsessed with things and study and I use it to my advantage. Now there's plenty that I don't know. And this side of the world, I didn't know. So at this point, I'm like, okay, cool. We need to find somewhere, like a room that we can get. Okay, there's a room. Let's find a room. In the UK, you can do that. It's calm. Here, you're not supposed to. You can't do that. And even though maybe there are some places where you find people sharing, it's same sex, not couples. I've got 10 days to find somewhere that's going to allow me and Viv to be there.
Did it help that you were married?
Yeah, of course, because at the time you wouldn't have been allowed to stay together. You can't stay with a female. So 100 million percent. Yeah, but that's fine. But finding a room or a place that does rooms that does that wasn't common. To find somewhere that could house a couple. And I'm now gone back onto the bizzle. I'm looking at everything I can think of. And remember, I've picked this side.
Is the business still about?
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah. And then we come across this...
Is it the business like
hip hop.
Yeah,
The business.
yeah. And we found this villa, and I've spoken to the lady that's running that villa, and she's like, "Okay, you guys seem quite nice." Like normally she, I guess, would have said no, but she's like, "It's okay, it's fine." We went to this villa, and it was a room inside the villa, but we never looked at the whole villa. It was just a section in the villa. And at this point, I think we had 2 days left on our hotel stay. And we're like, yeah, do you know what, we'll take it. And it cost, I think the price was around £600-700 a month. And what we took was the size Would you say it was the size of this carpet?
Like half of it.
So not even. I mean,
Corner there.
Right.
Not
And-
even, that's too big, probably.
And it was like 700 equivalent pounds.
£700 a month. Thank you. Here's my perspective shift going wild at this minute. Like this, what's going on? And it was a bunk bed. It wasn't even a double bed. At this point,
Wait, are these still recording?
yeah. Even this is we're on 1 hour. We're on.
Okay, cool, sweet.
We're on 1 hour 6.
Okay, cool, sweet.
So, in fact, one sec. I'm even gonna. Can you see that? That's got time for you.
Yeah, that's calm, man. Yeah, sweet.
So, firstly, in fact, where I have to give props to Viv, Viv's, you've seen what Viv's standard is. Like, just in general, her standard of living, this must have been probably...
I was friends with him before you, probably.
He was. There's no facts. But this was probably the hardest thing for her to deal with, because she looked at that and she was like, "No, I can't do that. No." And I'm like, at this point, we absolutely have to. We absolutely have to do that.
What happened there?
No, it's gone. I think it's a switch.
Okay,
Yeah, so at this point, we're like, yeah, we have to. I think it's your light. It might be hot, that's why.
Okay, that's going to do anything.
So,
Anyway, calm down, yeah.
So she finds it out. Actually, one of the reasons that we end up even taking that is because everywhere else, like we said before, it was same sex. There was actually one other place that was like, okay, it's cool.
That's interesting, anyway.
But that place wasn't a bed. That was like people sharing a space on the front room, and I was like, no, it's impossible. That's impossible. You can't do that. I know it's a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Right?
It was dirty.
Oh, that was mad.
On the floor, and it was.
Bed or a mattress top on.
Everything was just like and it was. Yeah,
It was mad. And at this point, I'm like, no, I've been, no, I can't. I was like, this can't be the part of the, it just can't. And then we ended up seeing this store, and it was actually nicer, like by comparison, hence what made the choice easier. And even if it was 700 plus pounds, it was like, it won't be long. It won't be long. So we did that.
Why won't it be long? What was the plan after that?
We'll hit the ground running.
Oh, okay.
Like crack on, get on with things.
Man, this is like real motivation, yeah.
Because remember, this is prior to us getting all the clients that we amassed. So when all that stuff happened, remember, she had a client that ended up leading to her having a dermatologist, who then, her husband was a heart surgeon, ended up training her son. She was a dermatologist for a shaker, which is she was a female, she was a princess.
Right.
Who did that lead? Did shaker lead to someone else?
No, one of your other clients led to.
Right. Then I had a client that led to, and I won't say names, but I had a client that led to a woman that I trained in one building. Her husband, in fact, that whole building was bankers. Her husband was a banker. I didn't train her husband, but people in the gym saw me training and ended up training a couple bankers. There was a woman, like a wife, quite big in her scene, who saw me and wanted her husband to train, and he's quite big in his field. That then led to Viv training a big family here, as in like someone from a big family here, which then led to more, like the network grew.
It's like real word of mouth.
And that's all it was. We didn't have a single advert. We didn't put a single advert ever. So we had that client base grow from knowing that we had to go through that particular condition, and we firmed it. So when we were, going back to the villa, when we were at that space, again, we'd only seen that inside bit. You kind of block everything out. And every time we walk in there, like our time is flexible. People usually work very early, don't they? So we don't see them. We've gone in and we've realised that on the whole outside of that villa, we realised it's late, but on the whole outside of that villa, there are people living in shacks. But I would have thought it was storage. So like, it's a longie. Now, that villa got raided. CID, which is undercover police, they were shutting down things because you're not supposed to have X many people It's meant to be, you meant to have a rental contract. So CID came, blasted absolutely everybody. Banged on our little, wasn't even a proper door, we even locked it with a padlock. Padlock that I had from the gym. Can you imagine? Bang, bang, bang. I'm coming. No, thank you, no top. Bang, bang, bang. I open it. I said, I'm coming. Passport now.
Passport now.
Passport. Passport now. And obviously, Viv's in there. Before he can even understand that this is my wife. Remember, if that's not my wife, you're finished. I pull out my passport. He looks at it. He doesn't even, before he even opens it, he looks at it. He sees a British passport. And he goes, brother, why?
Well, like, why are you here?
But what I'm not understanding is why you had to accept that place. Is it because you were
No. So
because 700 seems like you can rent somewhere for 700.
But remember, it was at the time one check or two.
This allowed you monthly.
Yeah, 100%. And that to me was like, does that exist in the UK like that?
What?
Yeah, like where it's like outside of your choice. I mean, they're like, no, you've got to pay like upfront.
It doesn't.
No, some places they what was it in like Northampton? The estate agent can charge you up to 4 months rent, but not.
As a requirement, as in they can require you to.
For example, they like maybe you don't pass their normal.
Okay.
They'll say, okay, cool, pay up front.
So I couldn't get that, and so that's what made.
Build the bank.
Yeah, I had to build it back. Now at this point, I also thought that again the shock and the perspective is I don't have an address. How the hell am I going to open a bank account? So I'm taking cash. And I'm just keeping cash under the mattress cash. I can't even keep cash on me every single time. I can't walk around with a bag of cash every time. I'm using a padlock.
We used to have.
What did I put in? Yeah, we did.
Is it? How much are you talking?
I don't know. I won't go into numbers, but we had a lot. And then one day I was like, let me at least just find out from the bank, the closest bank. I went in and I was like, yeah, so I want to open an account. Yeah, so we need your salary certificate. Like your proof of your earnings, like from the company you're working at. I was like, I don't know what a salary certificate is. I have my own company. Oh, okay, open an account.
That's it.
I didn't need an address. And I did that because I didn't know what to do. I was getting fed up at this point.
Who told you needed an address? You just assumed.
Because in the UK, that's my point. See, this is why I was getting waves of you don't know.
You don't know anything.
The world you're living in, it was small.
Yeah.
So then I opened it. That day, I was ecstatic. I've got a bank account. This is progress. Yeah, so we ended up opening an account, and this is all still at this villa.
Did you need proof of the business?
Yeah, but I have all that. But they need.
Well, did you slap the cash in the account right away, or did
Absolutely.
you take time?
No.
Straight away.
Yeah, and their withdrawal limits. There was unlimited. You could withdraw unlimited amount. It's not like the £200 cap or £300 cap. You could do, like absolutely.
Right.
So I was like, this is good. And then when you see a physical card, and it was like, this is a Dubai card. I was like, the motivation levels went up again. So anyway, we get back to the villa, happy days, and then we find out that place is getting shut down. Remember, it got raided. That place is getting shut down, meaning they've cut off electricity. Never, it's not going to that place. Everybody has to vacate. And what was wild about that was in the days leading up to that, the internet stopped working. And she wasn't telling us why. She was giving us, I think the router's broken. I was like, so we had to keep going to Starbucks. And the reason is, and back then Wi-Fi wasn't free. Like you buy a drink and you get Wi-Fi. No, they used to give us the tickets. You had to get a ticket back then.
And they would give you a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like an hour. So we used to go to Starbucks.
Or like the mall or something.
Yeah, but I mean like in the evening times. Because what we doing in the house in the evening, what we watching, what we streaming, we got no internet. Well, it's even dark. There's no main. It was imagine this is the front room. So I think it was the front room of the villa, but it'd been partitioned. And so you see how that middle might have been like the main light. Well, thank you. So What was the light that did we just buy some like the equivalent of £1 store light like? So I just put this like, you know what? This is cozy. This will bring us closer together. Let's
do stream, like download series or movies
from Starbucks. Download on the phone. Use the internet.
That we used to watch them.
Even trying to hold the phone up, I feel like I remember like hanging a piece of like string of wire and putting like a little mini cinema.
Oh my God!
Hanging dangling from the belly up, and we just sit and watch our videos. And then anyway, so we found out that place was getting shut down and had to leave. I don't know. Back to that process again of how are we gonna find the spot again? That same day, I managed to find somewhere, and this time it was.
Deadline guy, you know.
Wait,
the time deadline man.
The time. Oh yeah, that's the second time you lot came. This is where I was living next. So anyway, this was our own room, own bathroom. Like it was massive. It actually felt like a studio. It wasn't a studio, but it felt like a studio. We had like even tabletop stove, fridge, separate bathroom. We were like, nah, this we can breathe. Like this is proper. But that cost us £1,100 a month, which is still it's like overpaying wherever you pay in the UK.
That was basically the same amount of rent for one bed.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. In fact, we could have got a one bed, but again, because they wanted it 1 check or 2 checks at the time, like 4 checks, I think it might have been a thing or getting towards being a thing. So we could afford the monthly rent, but at the time affording to pay up front, we couldn't do that process. So we spent, this is before we started filming on Instagram. So we stayed there for a while and...
You started filming there?
That's when we started, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is, what was the date? You know the exact date.
25th of February, 2018.
25th of February 2018. Oh, wow. We went to the park. I'd used the money we were making. I bought a camera. I didn't know anything about filming, by the way. Like nothing about cameras, editing. I knew nothing.
This is during the period where you decided you're only going to work for 3 days a week, and the rest.
I decided that from the moment of personal training. I decided that's what the plan is.
And also, what were you expecting to gain from? Like, what was your concept of you creating content for what exactly?
More content where it would be helpful enough to share with clients. Because I noticed that some of the problems clients were having was in the time they're supposed to be training by themselves, they're forgetting things or not knowing necessarily what to really do and it's affecting motivation. So these videos initially were really meant to be there to help them.
Okay. But to add it onto your personal training package, like, okay, we also offer this for you.
Right. No, that was what it was meant to turn into, but not even to their package, just as an online option if you can't afford to do our personal training service.
Okay.
Because we were getting very, very like popular network. Yeah.
And were you going to charge for that, or is it just going to be something that people just go onto?
Yeah, on the website, absolutely. Like, I even had membership stuff set up. I remember sending into the group chat once, like...
you sent me a little pack, yeah.
Yeah, I sent some like access to wherever that website was that I'd created. So this time around, we went to go and film in the park, and I think there was a part of the footage where we were moving... Yeah, why don't you grab a minute? We were moving in the same, like, at the same time. And that was like the first video. I remember wearing that blue Nike top, like
You were navy blue.
Navy
I
blue.
was wearing baby blue.
And we started doing lunges at the same time and turning. And it just looked cool. And then loads of people liked it. So we went to the park.
What, straight away?
Yeah, I chopped it up. And I was like, okay, we'll do exercises together. We're Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. Well, the company's Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. We'll do exercises together. At the same time, like, so males and females can do it. Because remember, we're training couples. So it made sense for it to be both of us doing it. But then people were like, how are you moving exactly the same at the same time in every movement? And that also became a thing. So it became a form of entertainment and edutainment.
How are you? That's a good question.
We didn't.
Like a dance routine?
No, but I think we've been together so long. I feel like it's just we actually just vibe.
In sync.
We just vibe with each other. So we understand the movement we're in. So where the people we understand the type of lunge. Like a reverse lunge is a reverse lunge, but there's many variations. We could tilt the hips forward, back. We understand what we're doing with the movement. So for us, it's like, okay, we're going. Even if we're going at a 1-1 tempo, we understand that that's the tempo of the movement. Anyway, that became quite popular. And all of a sudden, brands started getting in touch. Events we were getting
So
invited
as soon as
to.
you started doing your video thing, basically almost instantaneously.
I wouldn't say instantaneously. I would say, what was it, 6 months? I feel like it was like 6 to 8 months, but we were growing rapidly, but not just in Dubai, worldwide. Oh, that's it. And then My Protein started sending us stuff. So we wore some My Protein like t-shirts and
The bright orange outfit.
Yeah. And then they posted it on all their socials, but not just the UK. They posted it to the US, Korea, every country you could think of, and they had big socials at the time. So all of a sudden, people were like, "What is this channel? Like, who are this couple doing all these exercises?" And then, month on month, day after day, like it just grew exponentially, and that's why I knew also. Well, this is why the 3 days was important, because the reality is I want a bank, a huge bank of content. And that's what we did. And we ended up posting for 18 months straight. We ended up posting every single day. Sometimes even 2 times a day.
And in that time, I reduced like my clients.
Started letting go of some clients.
Okay, now you reduced your clients.
Yeah.
So the content was making you more money that you could afford to do so, or what?
It was we were making enough anyway. It was more, we can start focusing on making this happen. And then started coming the YouTube videos. Very early on. We were one of the early ones to be able to put YouTube workout videos out every single day. We contributed to the ecosystem of people doing that form of online workouts. So the type of workout you see, like, I can't make this as a factual claim, but it exists. And in the fitness scene, enough people, top people in the fitness scene, whether they follow us or not, know the brand and know what we did with it. Because it wasn't cool to work out at home. Like initially, it wasn't.
And you did this 2018.
2018, and then it became like, again, the thought pattern was just build this library of content, and YouTube also pays. I know about YouTube from years ago. So
did they pay well? Them times,
well enough, but not well enough at the time to be like, I can only do this. But it was supplementary. So now we've got, multiple income streams. And then there was brand deals that were happening as well.
What amazing. Like, was there like a mind-boggling, something that happened that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening?
Yes.
And what was that?
So one of our biggest brand deals that we signed. But in fact, before we even signed that deal, no, actually, it was 2 kind of mind-boggling moments. We signed a supplement deal.
My Protein or before?
No, different brand. But at this point, I won't say the brands.
You don't need to say the brand names. Yeah. But
it was a supplement brand, and they offered us an amount that was okay for like a one person's salary. Like you could be like, okay, cool, I'll do that, and I'm calm. I said no.
But you wanted to say yes.
Yeah, but I said no because I want more. And that was a risky, when I say that was a risky play, in fact, before me even saying no, the person had been trying to get in touch for a long time. And I wasn't deliberately ignoring their emails, but I couldn't concentrate on it. And we ended up getting invited to go to the fitness expo that happened in the trade center. And we're there and I'm walking past, and I hear a guy go, "Hey, you!" I've never met him, but he's the head person of the brand that's been trying to get in touch. I'm not pleased with you. Come now, let's have a meeting right now. And he explained blah, 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 blah. Within that same week, he'd sent an official offer with an amount. And the amount was good. And I remember we were in Union Co-op. Do you remember? We were in the supermarket. And I looked at him and I was like, but I'm going to say no. He was like, are you sure, man? Are you sure, man? I was like, I'm saying no. I said no. And was it double or triple the offer? I think they doubled it.
Never say yes to the first offer.
So they doubled it. And I was like, we need to know our value. And at this point, in this whole like fitness, not just fitness, but in the social media kind of influencer wasn't even like the main term that was being used. But in that online like type, there was a lot of debate on how much people should get paid because a lot of brands weren't paying. It was just exchange.
Giving you free stuff.
2018, 2019? Yeah, 2018. Yeah, by now it's 2019. So 2019. And there was a big offer. Then came the one that I actually wanted. And again, I'm not going to say names.
Yeah.
But I loved the brand. Absolutely wanted. So I just had in my head that, look, something's got to happen with this brand at some point.
And you never contacted them. They contacted you, the brand, or did you contact them?
No, I remember sending a message like a whole year before to somebody. Oh no, to the main person, just being like, "I love your stuff, man." But nothing to do with us. Just like a message of like, "Oh, congrats! Hopefully, I put it on the radar. Maybe something happens." He actually responded like straight away. He was like, "Oh, thank you, man." But like that was it. Like a short message. But then I get a DM. But this is not within that same period. This is like a whole year or something later. I actually get a DM from someone high up in their team, and he's like, "Yeah, we want to arrange a conversation. This is who I am, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely love what you're doing. When are you free to have a chat?"
How are they contacting you at this point? Telephone number?
Telephone.
Okay, so they know you now. They know you.
No, they DM'd me. That message came through DM. They didn't.
Insta, DM.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I had not reached or said anything to them. But I know that I wanted that so badly for us. And so we talked. They mentioned the price. They didn't mention the price. They mentioned, we'll be sending an offer. But how long went past? Like days? No, I feel like a week. I feel like a week or two had gone past and no email had come through with any offer. And I was like, did I give the right email? Did I do everything right? Like, I'm starting to sweat every day. We're going out to the gym. Because by now we've moved to another building as well, man. We're going out to the gym, and we're running on the track together, and we're like, do you think it will come now? Do you think the email's going to come by the time we stop? And you're doing stuff to like keep yourself hyped. Okay, do you reckon the email's going to come after we do this many push-ups? So a whole week had gone by, and we're like, oh, man. Do you know what? It is what it is. We get invited to, they're good friends of ours, but at the time she worked for Warner Brothers. We get invited to, what premiere was it?
I don't remember the movie.
We get invited to some premieres. We've gone to the premiere at the other end of Dubai, gone to the cinema, and we're sitting, and the show's not yet started. We're sitting, ping, an email comes through.
And it's just about to start. It's like,
oh yeah, just about to start. And I'm like, I must be, I can't make noise. I'm like, I'm shaking. Because the email, I don't know what's on it, but I just know there's an offer and there's an email. And I'm like, oi. In my head, like, I had a number that I was expecting them to say in it. Like more than the supplement one.
At that time, how were you determining your value? In your mind.
Okay. Do you know what? That's a great question. So remember I said at the time, there was this like fierce debate about, but you're not getting paid enough, that brands are taking advantage. So we got offered a lot of brand deals and I had to turn a lot down because they weren't offering like anywhere near enough. I couldn't set a number, but my every meeting I'd gone into, I said, do you guys offer training to the people that you want to work with? Sales training. They're like, no, what do you mean? I was like, so how does it make sense? Like, how's it going to be successful if you don't offer training to the people you want to promote certain things? Like, how's it going to work? So in my head, I used to use that question as a way to be like, no, I understand I'm not doing this from a vibe of you're an exciting brand. This happened with Nikon. Is it Nikon or Nikon? How do you say it? The camera brand.
Nikon. Yeah.
I'll never forget that meeting. And I sat across the table from the execs and I was like, look, we do things very, very differently. Essentially what you're trying to do is affiliate based. It's going to make you guys money. What you're trying to offer, it's not acceptable enough. And they just couldn't get out their heads that, well, look, we're a big brand, we can give you exposure. So for me, I was like, all right, if that's what you're trying to offer, I'm not really interested. But back to that offer that came from the brand that we actually wanted, I deliberately, I don't think I opened it whilst watching the movie. Because I was like, no, I'm saving this for after.
You're better than me, that's
Fuck that movie.
I wouldn't remember one thing about that.
No. All I know is I was...
Yeah, you don't even know the movie's name.
No. Yeah.
You were just sat there.
But we've been to quite a few premieres. So I remember it's a premiere, but I can't remember the movie name. So the movie's finished, and then I open it, and my jaw drops. It was way past the number that I'd thought.
How significantly past? How many X's past?
No, still the same X.
Times 2?
Times, I would say times 2.5.
Did you say yes to this one, though? Or did you...
I said no.
Yo,
But at this point,
you never know.
No, but this is why I said I was a very high risk type individual. I was, but the number I said no to, the starting, not even starting salary, that type of income at home. If I was just doing a normal job, even with whatever experience I'd had, I'm not getting that. I just wasn't getting that. That's why my jaw dropped. I was like, no, actually, the brand that I think Viv and I are building, and with the trajectory that we're going, to me, it's just worth more than that. So I wrote back and I was like, absolutely love. I actually do love you guys, but there's two of us. It's not really gonna work. And then on top of that, it's an exclusive offer. It means you can't do other stuff. By this point, we'd worked with brands like Under Armour. The CEO of Under Armour, before he stepped down, he came to Dubai. We trained him with a group of other people. We did stuff with Nike here, Adidas, loads of stuff. So things had been seen, and we were doing creative in a way where it just worked. We would match everything. So even our trainers, people were like, what trainers are these? They're matching trainers with new launch trainers that are coming from some of these brands. So you could just sense that it's going to stick.
It's a great ad. It's a great ad for them.
It will stick. And because it's subtle, because it's not an ad. Do you get my point?
It's not an ad, and it's consistent. And like you said, your imagery is important. It's almost like
there you go.
You're modeling it in the videos, isn't it?
Essentially. So, and that's the real estate. And this is where I was like, I know how much real estate is in the video. Whether it's a trainer, a mat, a dumbbell, or I just know the real estate. And they knew it. Where I know respect is going to come from is someone not chasing the money. But understanding the business model behind what the deal actually is. So I said no, but this no was a mad no. There was already 2 to 3 times the amount that I'd expected that they would say.
Was your no, or
no, it was no.
Come better than this, please?
It was no. It was we can't do it for that. Yeah, but I absolutely love the brand.
Out of interest, from a negotiation perspective, so say they had come in at the number you expected.
Yeah.
And you said no, and then they came in at the number that
they offered.
Actually offered.
Would you have said yes?
Do you think you would have been satisfied with that? Would that change your view of the value?
So say if the number was 50, you understand anyway.
No, because I wanted perks with it. So when they came back with the other offer, I said no again. But this was jaw-droppingly different. I'd said no, but if we can do X, Y, and Z with the same number, and then allow for because that's with the estate agency stuff. I used to do contracts and have clause periods in them, or things that allow for movement, and gave several solid reasons why. You know what? We love you guys. Yes.
Hey man, that's beautiful, man.
And at that point, we even before that point, we didn't actually really need to train any more clients. We had to be really sensible about how we offload clientele and how we move forward with this. Because what started becoming really valuable at that time, and what made me understand it, was how valuable time is. Way more than obviously money. So things the trajectory of where we started really going just took off from there. And then obviously at that point, YouTube was growing. That was wild. Still is.
This is all pre-pandemic.
This is all pre-pandemic.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, this is all pre-pandemic.
As in, when the pandemic hit, as in, what do you reckon that did to your business?
This is why I say it's spiritual. Because as soon as pandemic hit, personal trainers across Dubai, because we had lockdown here severe, going out full stop. And if you need to apply for a permit to go to the shop, groceries, something specific. But doing personal training you couldn't do. So many of them turned to Zoom to do online Zoom sessions. But there's loads of people that were just putting that stuff on pause. They weren't going to pay. So how are these guys going to survive and function? That would have absolutely happened to us. But we'd already had
content backed up and stuff.
Content, but also our deals, contracts, YouTube.
To this building as well.
As pandemic hit. The month before lockdown, we moved into this building.
I think it wasn't even about a month. It's we just got our furniture and then lockdown happened. Literally.
Oh, exactly. So if we hadn't, we wouldn't even be able to buy a bed. Like that would have been a mad process. So, and even prior to that happening, when that deal came through and we flew to the country to sign the papers of the deal, we had also been sent by the Pullman Hotel directly, a separate deal, to Maldives to go and do something. So they flew us out to Maldives. Like, at this point, everything's just coming in, like the rain is pouring, like rain of good is just pouring. And then obviously we come back to...
And what, this is 2019?
2019. Now bear in mind...
You're good, you know, because me, the other day, I won a quiz and I put on Instagram and I was like, yo, I'm the greatest. You, with all these wins, you're mad humble. Like, obviously, man knew you was winning, but you're not shouting to the rooftops and, you know what I'm saying? So you're good in that regard. Me, oh my God, I would just be telling everybody.
Yeah, so we...
And that's why God's not, you know what I'm saying? God's like, humble yourself. Damn it, yeah? But yeah, continue.
So we're in Maldives, and this is like we started noticing people in the Maldives were like getting ill, like people just coughing and getting ill. But it's like, how can everyone on the island be getting ill like this, man? This is wild.
I heard about it as well.
When we were out there.
Really, well, I personally dismissed it. I was like, oh, okay, it's
a flu or something, yeah. So we'd come back and this whole like lockdown thing started happening. We are just about to move. So we've come here, signed the checks, my checkbook. Oh no, I didn't even have my checkbook. So basically, I have to rewind. I had a check payment that had bounced, and a bounce check is illegal. Well, it was like proper illegal. You get in trouble for that. Those checkbooks are issued directly from the central bank. Meaning to even get a checkbook, if your credit's not good, you ain't getting a checkbook. And if you bounce a check, that's a mark against you. But this was like, I had the money, I didn't put it in my...
Administrative issues.
Something happened, but I didn't put the money in the account early enough for that check to have come out. And I was thinking UK time as well. No, it didn't work like that. They can take it. So... Anyway, that was years prior to moving to this building. So I moved to this building, the guy's like, oh yeah, so you've got to sign the checks. And I think I didn't have enough leaves. So I think I was going to do 4 checks or something like that. I didn't have enough leaves. So I went to the bank. They said, sorry, we can't issue your checkbook. But I'm moving. We can't give you a checkbook. There's nothing you can do. I was pleading. I was like, have you seen the news? Have you seen, like, it's illegal here in Dubai to be homeless. What am I supposed to do? Like, I have nowhere to live. I need to write these checks. What bounce check are you talking about? Like, no, I can see you, Mark. I said, open my account. Tell me the exact date. And he said, yes, look, if it's within a year, then we can't give it to you. I was like, I don't even remember what you're talking about. So he goes through it and he notices, actually, there's no bounce check. This is years ago. 5 minutes later, a brand new checkbook comes out. I sprint back to the offices, or I drive back. Was I driving? I wasn't driving at the time. Taxi back to the offices. I managed to get a checkbook, and I think I signed it at like, we have a picture of it somewhere, but I signed it at like, was it 7 in the night? Is it 8 o'clock night time? He was the last worker there.
I was with you when you did it.
I was like, this can be our new home. Signed the check over, got the apartment.
Now, do you feel as though moving into these apartments helped you with your content as well?
That absolutely not helped me. I picked the space based on how I wanted to film. As in, it didn't matter. The aesthetics mattered, but more about how can I create something. Like instead of me getting an office or a space, I want somewhere that's got enough space that I can have as a set inside of wherever I am. And that was one of the processes for picking this particular place. Not this particular one, but upstairs where it was smaller. So then we've got it, and then we hear about lockdown. But lockdown here was strict. Even in our building, I think you were telling someone this the other day. In our building, they put up these machines that you'd walk through and it scans your temperature. And it sprays mist. Like it's spraying like antiseptic. And if your temperature was too hot, an alarm would go off. So...
We had the mist spraying in our building.
Was it the mist one? What was it?
Was that for COVID?
Radar one.
Yeah, it was as they announced.
It had the mist.
The mist.
We actually initially had to wear like gloves.
Oh yeah, gloves and mask. But because we were in a one bed, it was a big one bed, but like it was awkward big. Like the bedroom was much bigger than it needed to be because we wasted space. And the thought process I had was, I can't get out of bed, go to this room and live like this like for however long this lockdown is. We don't even know how long it will last. So I said to the agent, is there anything you have in the building just a little bit bigger and just another room?
Wait, so how big was the living room?
Which, the other one?
Yeah.
Was it half?
Maybe like 2/3.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Decent size, but it wasn't as.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't as big.
But
as
you felt a bit claustrophobic in.
Absolutely, because I was always editing for hours. Like I had a small segment in the living room, like a side of the wall where my desk was, and I was like rolling out of bed and I'm going to. I can't. Like it was getting to me because we can't get outside.
Literally, it was just the bedroom or the living room that we could be in.
Exactly. I was like. And then he said, "There's 3 places, but the one I got, they never ever market. It happened to be one of 2 in terms of the biggest ones in the building. I came and it was, imagine this empty. Like, just imagine it empty.
You think, oh my God, man. Even Laddie was like, this is probably the biggest space he's ever seen somebody live in.
It's the biggest one.
In my head, I was like, I know what I would do on this side. I know how I'll film here. Like, my brain was just like, I know exactly. I got so excited. This didn't come down.
Content.
Yeah, she hadn't come. She was upstairs because I think only one person was allowed to go at the time. So I can't remember why she didn't come down. What was the reason? Do you remember?
we came together.
That was the second time. That was after I came. Remember, I took a video.
It was during lockdown.
It was something to do with that. So I'd seen it. I was like, and this was like double, if not, it was way more than what we were paying. And that was a risk. But in my head, I was like, it has to work.
This is double what you're paying?
Yeah.
Double.
It's mad.
And that one's higher up?
It's higher up, but it's a 1-bed. It's smaller. And it wasn't facing...
Well, this is Because I don't count the gym.
It wasn't facing this side. It was facing that side. So we were facing another building.
Oh, so you can't even see the birds.
And we didn't have it wasn't panoramic. It was one side. Still big, obviously floor to ceiling type windows.
You could see that corner, I think.
Just a little bit. That was from the bedroom.
I could hear it as well.
So when I saw this, I was like, and this is like this space here is the type of space I dreamed of. Remember I said earlier on in the conversation, I'm a city person at heart. I've always dreamed of an apartment like that overlooks the city. That's wham. And I feel like this was manifested from something that I visualized. And the layout was fantastic. And then the flooring isn't typical, like the marble flooring isn't typical in most buildings. It's, you know what you have in the kitchen? It's that type of tiling. So everything just flowed, it worked. And then we secured this place and then I just knew this is going to be the new visuals. And it's a view that people couldn't steal. So early on when we were doing videos, we would find a spot. Oh, where is this spot?
People ask.
Next minute, and you can't really be stushed like because you're now being stushed publicly. You're a fucking hater. Like, oh, it's this spot here, and all of a sudden, every videos are coming out at that particular spot. And it's not even just like workout videos; it's just any video. It doesn't matter. But it's now like it's going to end up losing its novelty to the people that see it. And so, when this became a view that we owned, it wasn't stealable. It was brandable. And so this is where the marketing side of it had to fit into the bigger plan. Without me revealing too much, it was a very significant part of the plan to brand. So this is it.
Do you still have to pay rent a year upfront?
No, I didn't pay. I ended up doing it in checks. I didn't do it. I never ever did it a year. Oh, you mean now living here? You have choice. So 1 check, 2 check, 3 checks, 4, I think up to 6.
Oh, you thought you would have paid for that one?
I just wanted it every year you have to pay up front for the next year.
No, but every year you have to sign the number of checks that you set. It depends on the place as well. I've heard now, of some places where they could do 12. But remember, your bank, if they choose how many leaves they issue, so you can't even just say, I'm going to do 12 checks. My first checkbook, I was issued 8 checks.
I've never used a checkbook like that. Just to let you know.
Friend, you see how
I think I have.
Where are you using a checkbook?
No, but I'm telling you, I had a checkbook. Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day, that was just for that was my first account kit.
Yeah. So actually, that whole reissue of a checkbook, that story of me not being able to get one was for the second apartment. Because we moved upstairs and a month later, we moved here. Because I was like, no, I need it. Just in case. Like, this lockdown is long, I can't do it. So I'd already wasted my 4 checks. I had to cancel them. But that was the last 4 sheets that I'd had.
That's hilarious anyway, yeah.
So I needed to go and get a new checkbook, and that's when I had the issue at the bank, and then they were like, oh, right, no, that's a mistake. And then they gave me another one. So...
Now, obviously, earlier on I spoke about when Viv said you were hemorrhaging money, innit?
Yeah.
Now, explain how one manages to buy a McLaren
Okay, so
and not get in trouble.
Viv can answer that.
Yeah, well, do you want
Just... As in, like, why I wouldn't get in trouble
for buying a McLaren now?
We worked so hard.
But did you cash out on the McLaren?
What do you mean?
As in
buy cash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole McLaren.
The whole McLaren. And what she said, I won't do it. I wouldn't say it, and I'm flexing that I did that.
Yeah.
But like,
I think you said you had to.
Yeah, partly because trying to get it any other particular way, as an owner of the company, I had a smart office. You need to have a physical office. It would have been easier for me to employ Viv and then her go down that particular route, but they wouldn't have given that amount for the value of whatever the car was. So, and in here in Dubai as well, you have registration cards on the car. And if you are paying via hire purchase or the bank or in installments, it actually says on the card, mortgaged by. So essentially, like, mortgage is like it's debt. So it means that it's owned essentially by whoever the company is that's giving you the money, even though it's your name registered on it. But if you buy your car cash, it's empty space. So like, I never flex that, but like there are people that don't believe that, but you can prove it with the gold cards. Do you get my point?
It's on your license plate.
It's on my registration card of the car. It will say where it says mortgaged by. It's a little card. It looks like a... No. It's a little gold card. It's in my wallet. It's a little gold card.
Basically, you can see if someone says...
You could see if they're chatting shit.
But what does yours say? Does it say your name or Mr. Master?
No, it's my name.
Oh, okay, cool.
So also, what's the car market like relative to other places, especially for like supercar? Dubai, is it?
Yeah,
Is there a premium to it? Is it?
Yes. Okay. You know what? That's a good question. So like, if I had a McLaren in London, they're never going to insure me. They just wouldn't. Petrol is expensive. The cost of the car. They're not even insuring Range Rover. Range Rover insurance is like $7,000.
Yeah, but they're people drive them there, so how they getting insured?
When I say they wouldn't insure me, the reality of the situation is that would be a special insurance. That would be specialist insurance, because the normal insurance we would go and do like a comparison search for Direct Line or whatever.
Okay.
They're gonna,
you can't go compare and get a quote.
But even then, it's going to cost you the price of a car.
Yeah, 100%.
My insurance, I think the first year was, I think, less than £600.
£600.
Do you know what insurance is like now? It's
£600 is crazy.
Well, how much is the fill up?
Oh, like 30. I did it the other day. 30. But I even tried to put £30 in. And I think it was too much.
You're gonna click this.
You never emptied the tank.
Do you know how much for the
no,
E-Class for insurance it was for the E-Class for me?
That was even years ago.
Full tank was about 150.
That was 3 bills a month.
Yeah, mine was
Cheaper or more expensive?
Her car is more expensive to fill up, but it's like £40.
Full tank, you're saying £30 full tank for a McLaren.
Mine
and you pay
£600 insurance.
£600 insurance.
And there's no
A
car
year
tax.
or month?
A year.
£600 a year is...
You have to buy it yearly. You have to buy whatever the insurance
Okay, this has gone viral. This one over here.
So, so I paid £600 for my first year to insure the McLaren. Petrol, £30, that was to fill up. There's no road tax, and even that's expensive in the UK for a car. Road tax is like, why am I paying that? So
So if you see the car in the UK, you look at the person like, rah, you're paying all of this crazy money.
No.
Okay, cool.
I was from the UK, like I've lived through it.
Now, at what point did you realise, as in, like, what year are we talking, did you realise that, you know what, we can start enjoying the fruits of our labour?
I always knew, my thing is pay it forward. So I just have that notion of pay it forward. So I don't, there's no moment or particular event where I'm like, oh, we can enjoy it. It's, I'm paying it forward. And I have my own routine, my own schedule. So this is where I said about valuing time more than anything. And it can get a bit lonely as well in terms of like, you have all that time and there's not much to do. So it wasn't so much about, oh, we can enjoy it. It was more, how do we fill our time? How do we choose to fill our time? And then identifying that, and this is where things like golf have come into play, and I just got obsessed with that. Like, it can fill the time, but I can never be perfect at it.
But and also, what does a normal day look like for you and Viv? Because I'm assuming a lot of your things you do online, you've clipped some things up and stuff.
A normal day, I'm always awake without an alarm clock, so about early.
Our days are very different.
Yeah, mine's very different. So like, if I'm active and it's golf, I'm waking up first thing in the morning and I'm going golf for maybe 4 hours. Come back. I love anime. I've always loved anime, so I might be watching a bit of anime, look at stocks. I read tons of articles daily. That's just stuff to keep myself busy.
You read a lot.
Oh, yeah, I read a lot of books as well. And then, I mean, from the social aspect, it depends on what's happening. It could be that we're going for lunches, and dinners. We used to go out a lot, and we used to go shopping a lot. But that's not really filling the time with something that's you're really gonna enjoy.
How did you guys build like a social circle? Considering so a lot of the time when people move to new countries, their avenue, obviously your work is interpersonal. So I guess.
That's actually how, especially on my side, that's actually how my social circle formed.
Is it clients?
Yeah, it was clients.
Is that's like generally seen as like reasonable etiquette to be friends with your clients?
No, do you know what it is? It's because the type of relationship I had with them as a PT, the type of PT I was one where I was like, it was almost like I ended up not let's say being their counselor, but you're talking about things that are not training. It's about stuff that's life and just actual things, and you're seeing it regularly.
Point where that's all. There was this girl at work once that she basically she had a personal trainer that was a friend of a friend, kind of a friend, and she couldn't afford it. She couldn't afford it, but she didn't cancel it because it was her friend.
I get it.
Because obviously it's a business relationship. Or like a client-customer relationship, relationship, business relationship, as well as a friendship. So at what, is there a point where now you're friends, you don't necessarily train them anymore?
We stopped training years ago, so we don't train anybody. But
I mean, in that process, was there...
Wow, why did you do that? Because you don't need to.
No, you don't need to. And it was the time thing. It's like, it's more about what you want to fill your time with. And
what if someone that gives you a crazy offer?
No. The most valuable thing to me is time and how we fill that
500 bags.
The most
hour. When you've been a trainer, you kind of understand because you're on their time. You're not on your own time. So, for instance, I had a client that would cancel at like 4 a.m. in the morning. And for me, that was too much. Like, because I already had planned my day, and I wake up to this message where one of my first clients in the morning has already cancelled, and it just kind of mentally throws you off, and then I also in our contract we had a clause where if you cancel with less than 24 hours, you lose your session. But because I technically didn't do that work, I never felt comfortable taking the session from the
That was a big night out.
So for me...
4 in the morning, still at the bar.
But for me, that was a struggle. So I actually had to stop working with that client.
Where she dropped her.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But even like in terms of where's that line between friendship and client, and it was why I think it's different here. If this was UK, I'd say, yeah, it's a bit mad. It's not really like that. Here, you're dealing with people that are from different cultures completely, that are like the interest, friendship. There's interest that kind of creates that friendship and bond where you're talking about loads of different things. And so that line didn't really exist. And that was actually with all of my clients. I didn't have a single client where I felt like this is just a professional relationship. We were just so mad open. And that could be a number of things. Like, I can't say anything factual, but what I mean, when I say a number of things, it could be that there's an element of loneliness. Remember, I'm training people whilst people are at work. Not like, whereas in London when I was doing it, it's before work hours or like after work hours. So these people I'm training have mad flexibility with their time during the day. So it's a completely different dynamic and relationship that allowed for many of them to be friends. And it was just very helpful, man. You said something about the social media.
Okay, yeah. You said you don't train people anymore.
Yeah,
so do you guys have like a content day where you film your content?
Now, yeah.
And what day is that?
It's flexible, but we have a day where we're going to put out new content every Monday. So any day before Monday, we will film one video. But we've got thousands of pieces
stash
of content.
Yeah. When did it start being daily?
When it's something daily? Yeah, I would say what? Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because we had no routine. So we didn't have to. There was one day, this is before we were traveling, we were stacking up content. We were able to film, I think it was 10 pieces. Now, if you can film 10, I think it was like 10 to 16 pieces. If you can film 10 pieces in one day, that's covering you for us, I think that was covering, what, a month?
When was this?
I think before we flew, one time we filmed like 16 pieces in a day or 10 to 16 pieces in a day. My point is, we were just doing it every day because we weren't being sensible and optimizing time. We never ever had to do that. And it was one of those ones where it was like, maybe at the back of my mind, I was like, I can't have these empty days. Like, I came from office environment like years back where and that's needed, by the way. Like, it's such an important thing. Like, I
was always the one saying I wanted to break.
Yeah. It's like, but it brings me to mention something that's very important, and we grew up, I think, in an era where entrepreneurialism was glamorized. Yeah, and I don't consider myself an entrepreneur, and I don't ever want to glamorize that because I feel like it was missold. Like, you look at the lifestyle of some successful entrepreneur, and there's so much that is not seen that gets them to that particular point. And all we're shown is the end result of it. And then you think to yourself, no, I have to have that. It's not like what I have is not good enough. And this is where that whole comparison thing kicks in and it messes a lot of people up. So from day one of us doing any sort of filming, on my mind was I will film more from a business perspective than making this personal. And that's why off screen, but prior to recording, you were like, you said, you said something about, is Mr. Muscle really Mr. Muscle without Mrs. What did you say? You said something.
Well, I said, for instance, what was the question?
Mr. Muscle.
Are you Mr. Muscle or are you one half of Mr. and Mrs. Muscle?
Which is, to me, is a brilliant question. Yeah. We're not Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. The notion behind Mr. and Mrs. Muscle was that every male is a Mr. Muscle that can train. We all have muscles. Every female is a Mrs. Muscle. So it's not actually Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. So when we get talked about or in PR and stuff like that, it's Mike and Viv from Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. It had to stay separate from us.
It's not you, you're not.
Yeah. But even if his story was like, Mr. Muscle was saying, every single male is a Mr. Muscle. Like, even me saying that, where things start to change is when you have gender pronouns and stuff like that become different, it's hard even explaining that to people. Every male is a Mr. Muscle, every female is a Mrs. Muscle. That's a bit techie, so I don't even say anything. But that's the notion behind it. And that's what allowed us to kind of detach from this idea that we're influencers. We've never, ever, ever seen ourselves as that. Even if someone said you are.
Now, basically, this is just an opportunity for you to basically talk about how great your wife has been, because currently right now I'm hearing stories about you staying in a shack, you not coming home or for months on months, you calling up asking for money, not having basically the Dubai experience not being the best, and having a wife that stayed throughout that and managed to actually witness your success. So this is just a nice opportunity for you to just say some great things, man.
No. Everybody anyone that does know Mr. and Mrs. Muscle, like the brand, that has seen Viv talk or do anything about it. She does everything from her heart. So like, for me, the success of this does not exist without Viv. Now, the backstory to that is, Viv and I, we met at 11 years old, which is true, at school. And you know, all of you in this room know this because we all met at 11. My first friend ever in that school, Isaac. Even when I liked Viv for many years, you don't knew this already. I liked Viv for like 2 years, 3 years. And I remember we were approaching even. We started dating obviously at 15, and I remember as we were getting older, we're getting past that GCSE stage. We need to start thinking. No, past sixth form, we need to start thinking about things like uni. And remember, I had this really long conversation with Isaac about like relationship, the long distance type relationship. Like, does it even work? Like, what's going to happen here? And it's one of those things where you actually think about. You're like, I don't know how to navigate that because I don't know what's going to actually happen. But I feel like she's the one. Like, it's her. That's the guy I want to marry. Like, I will end up marrying. And this is how old was he? Was it 15 or like 17 or something like that?
No, we were definitely like about 17, and we walked from top of Muswell Hill.
Yeah, from school, was it not?
Yeah,
from school all the way to where did we go? No, past that. To that end. It was a big. That was like our first ever adult big brain proper conversation. And that's where it was kind of like, no, this is like, all jokes aside, and everyone knows how funny Isaac is, like, absolutely, this was his, like, you were super serious. And it was like, all jokes aside, this is the one, you have to make it work. You have to make it work. But, so I've always had this thing where if I'm doing something at the back of my mind and at the front of my heart, I'm doing it for her. So motivation is endless. Endless. That's what powers me to be able to keep going over and over and over and over and over, and making sure that if something was to happen, she's good. It's not that she can't do something herself, but I don't need any other outside motivation. I wake up, she's there. Everything I do is her. She taught me chess. I base all of my decision-making strategy process from that game. I didn't know how to play it. She taught it to me. Like, so wherever you see or hear from me on this side, I'm not going to say I haven't put work in, but she's the biggest part of that. Guaranteed, 100 million %.
And also, I'd like to add that I think you guys, like me and Isaac discussed this earlier, you're the first wedding I've ever been to that was my wedding, that I wasn't taken there. You know what I'm saying? No one took me there. I went there. Okay. Myself.
You know what's so mad about it, right? See, for me, that was, I agree with Dimes, like we said it earlier, that was the first wedding I have been to. I have been to other weddings. You're just there, you know, for party and whatever. Or like, I don't know, as an African, as a kid as well,
basically help.
You don't ever see the wedding.
Yeah. Or if you're like me, your parents will bring you as an accessory to get them too.
Do you know what I mean? But this was the first wedding because we were at the stag, Ishmael gave a speech. Our group chat picture, I always think about it. I said it to them at work today. Our group chat picture is us four at your wedding.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
you know that,
but you're not gonna be crying. I did.
That's why it's the group chat picture.
That's fucking
it's
mad.
At your wedding, and that's
mad.
You set standards. I'm not gonna lie.
No, bro, that's mad.
Yeah, you set you two both, because deep down as well, even in my heart, I knew I wanted that. When I saw you two, I was like, no. Could have told Amanda though. So yeah.
I don't think nothing's even better for me anyway than somebody making money with their wife, bruv.
Definitely for a different pod, because that has challenges too. That's why I'm saying, like, that whole notion of this entrepreneur, I don't want ever, like, for future generations or future people that are watching, so young people watching it, or even us adults, us not even talking, that notion of business, I want business, and business is the only way and it's the way forward. It's not. We have to learn about time, but we also have to learn about financial education, because you can have a regular job and be stupid wealthy because you've been smart with that money. And you've done something with it at the early times. Like, there are stories of, and there probably are, like, people that we went to school with whose parents were like, yeah, I'm just going to put a little £50 a month into this particular stock for you. That's your gift or whatever it is. And they've got a nest egg before they've even done anything that they can tap into if they feel creative. Do you get my point? And that side is never seen. So, like, if I, like, you didn't ask me this question, but if I had to say, would I do this whole thing again? I can't say yes straight away. I can't just be like, yeah, 100%. I would absolutely have to think long and hard on it, and I probably would say no.
I'm not gonna lie, even the stories that you've given, there's a lot of points where you should, well, not you should have quit, but I you definitely could have. As in,
absolutely.
It took like a lot of resilience to actually.
I think it's hard to always say if you do something again. The only reason is that obviously when you do it, the hard parts, the first time when you do it, the hard parts you don't know they're going to be there. So it's a lot easier to do something mentally when you don't know what to expect. You know, this 3 years,
it's true. Yeah.
Choosing to do.
No, you're going to be homeless. No, you're going to
know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
It's a lot different doing it the first time, not knowing.
Yeah, it's true.
Knowing. So, some people might think it's easier knowing that it will work out, but I don't necessarily agree with that.
And also, I feel like it's a lesson.
It's survival instinct.
Exactly. At that point, real time.
I feel like this is a good lesson as well for like, what was it? I think Isaac, similar circumstances as well in regards to wives actually being wives and supporting their husbands through periods, isn't it? Because Isaac's similar story as well.
It's important.
Kaisha was helping you out. Then that's what I'm saying. Then Isaac's come up as well. And these are examples of wives that literally, you know what I'm saying, stuck by their partners.
The real ones, absolutely. Like, and look, I will never forget uni. Went to Bournemouth Uni, and my student loan didn't come through. Like, for some reason, it was taking long for me. I had no peas, no bread. Student loan didn't come through. I'd come back to London, to visit everyone. Viv took me to the station. I'm getting on the coach. It's a coach journey back to Bournemouth. Those are the £1.
Double coaches.
Or some
National Express.
And I'm like, all right, cool. But I know at this point, I'm getting to the student office every day. Where is my money? I can't even go out. I can't do nothing without where's my money. So when Vivi's saying bye, and she goes like this. I'm like, cool. And I open my bag and I look and there's a letter. I'm reading the letter and it's just it's something beautiful and motivational. And as I come to the bottom and unfold it, a check drops out of £100. But I burst into tears. I was like, I burst into tears.
Isaac did the same thing in Jamaica. When I think you and Fizzy were living together, and then all of a sudden, Kaisha sends you a text message saying that she's paid something. This is Isaac. I love this girl, man.
Bro, it's because at that point, like, you act like you have to just humble yourself, like, completely. In that point, you're like, I've always gone with this notion of, I want to do it myself. Like, I want to do it myself. I was always like this. In fact, we've had conversations before where I think this was, there was a time specific, I'll never forget it. I was always chopping and changing, like job, for example. It's like, just settle down. And I was like, yeah, but no, I've learned what I want from this bit and I want to move on. No, it was stuff like what we've done that made me appreciate that help is important. Actually, it's the most valuable thing. It's something to look to. And if it's there, that is gold. So yeah, and there's more than one occasion. It's not just money. Like I could be in a state, like maybe I've heard something or I'm rocked emotionally, and at lightning speed, she's processed how to react. Not just like be sad with me, and it's that you might need something. Let me go into a particular mode. So for me, I'll do anything with anything she wants. I said it, anything. I work hard for it. If she said, I want to set up my own handbag company, and I know it's going to be super duper challenging, and it might not even be successful, I would study everything I could to attempt to just at least make it happen. Anything, any idea. Because I know this one thing, if it has her blessing and she's on it, it's a success, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's why when you said, would you do the personal trainer company?
Oh my God.
You always wanted a business with me.
Oh my God, that's actually how this happened. how I got into PT. I said, also people were getting fed up with me. I was shopping and changing to my parents. Even my parents were like, my parents were like, because remember, after I got married, I moved from my, we had an apartment in Tottenham, and I moved from that apartment back into the family home. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a family home. I'm at the family home living with my wife. But obviously, this family, do you get my point? We've been together since 15. But at this point, I think I just left a recruitment company. I think I'd gone into recruitment. I've done better things, investment, property. I was in recruitment. And I left it to set up my own, which is...
And you made decent money.
Yeah.
That's where we worked together at one point.
We worked in a similar field. No, it wasn't me, it was you. I think you two. But we were in a similar field. So we used to link up after work at, what was it, All But One? Abacus, always. But yeah, so I'd left some recruitment company that I was actually doing all right at to try and set my own thing. And I even remember my first client that I'd landed was was he the marketing manager of Tottenham Hotspur or something like that? Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is gonna work. It could work. No one wanted to hear it. My parents had absolutely had enough. I went to Viv, I was like, look, I'm very upset. I was like, if I do PT, yeah, would you do a PT business with me? I think she just like, I don't know if she actually wanted to. She was like, yeah, I would.
I never wanted to have my own business.
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
She didn't want it. And I was like, in my head, I was like, but it'd be a fantastic thing. Like, it's just, I love you, man. It could work.
I was just like, okay.
She said, okay. So what did I do? Immediately found out how to do a PT course. And I was like, you said you would do this. The same course that she did. She gave me, she got me into the gym that she was at. And then it was a success. Mm-hmm. 22 to 30 clients between us two. Everybody else every trainer in that gym was hating. This is what Green Gym was. Absolutely. Trying to be like, oh, but you know, his form, I'm not sure about his form and the way he's doing. No, but when I say hating, it wasn't like a, it was a kind of like a subtle hate, especially when.
You said good form. What are you talking about?
No, but little dig. I didn't have bad form. More what they're saying. But any client that had signed up, whoever's on shift, you're seeing someone go, or somebody walk and just clench their fist. And I was like, look, this is happening because we're doing it together. It's that element.
You always said we had 20% of the board.
20% of the what?
That's what I said. I used to say we have 20% of the board. So in the personal training, at the gym group, they had a board of all the PTs. And I said to them, we have 20% of the board because it's us too. Everyone else.
Just the board being up there was actually your interactions.
Yeah, of course. And that's what made things like go. But I said to her, look, if you like us doing this together, look how much we can take. You're female, I'm male. Look how much we can take. Everyone else is on their own. It's one by one. So again, that's kind of just like I said, but this is all rooted to Viv. Like, by myself, could I do something and be? It depends on what you define success as. Can I make money on my own? Yeah, 100%. But with Viv, everything's better. And guaranteed. That's not me saying working with your wife in a business is the best thing in the world and it's what you should do. It's me saying in this circumstance, in my circumstance, and the success that you see here and what we're working on, and the journey to us is still early days, it doesn't work without Viv.
Beautiful. Well, I think I can end it here. That was beautiful.
Cheers,
nice love. Yeah. Enjoyed that conversation. I'm happy. Bear viral bit. Hey, stop that.
Tell you what's changed right now. In a different field, different lane right now. Now I'm in the mud, switching lanes right now. Passive income getting paid right now. Used to roll around with sinners, bulldozers and killers. Now we focused on figures, 3-course meals for dinners, 5-star suites and villas. Now the swag hit different. Cause the bag is different.
This can't come out.
And the tab is different.